Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, cousins of course, mops and pops, or if you prefer, grandmothers and grandfathers, and baseball fans everywhere, welcome to the 2018 Valley Baseball League playoffs. Hello everyone, my name is Graham Knight, and on behalf of the Valley Baseball League, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's live stream telecast. This telecast is brought to you by Subway, make it what you want, and by Jim Stutzman Chevrolet and Cadillac of Winchester, Virginia, home of the $99 processing fee, and by 92.5 Wink FM, home of Barry Lee and Katie G in the morning, and by TGI Fridays. Every day is Friday at TGI Fridays. And now, here are your announcers for tonight's game.
Good evening from Rebel Park in Newmarket, Virginia, and welcome to Game 2 of the Valley Baseball League Championship Finals. The defending champion, Charlottesville Tom Sox, are the visitor. The last time the homestanding Newmarket Rebels won the Lionel Weaver Trophy was 2002, and they're hoping to reclaim by winning their 13th game in a row. I'm Dennis Atwood, your Rebels webcaster, and I'm joined for the second time this year by Tom Sox play-by-play announcer Zach Hamilton.
Thanks for having me on, Dennis. It's going to be a great night.
It's great for teamwork. Zach joined me in the webcast of Charlottesville visit here July 27th for a rare day game, which the Rebels won 7-3. But history is not necessarily destiny. We're coming to you over the Valley Baseball League Network, enhanced with 6 cameras tonight via Facebook Live video, enhanced by the technology provided by Isomer Media, and sponsored by Jim Stutzman Chevrolet, WINC 92 FM, Subway Sub Shops, and TGI Fridays, as well as Stretch Internet Audio.
It's very warm. Not as humid as it was earlier today as a rain band moved through this afternoon, knocked down the humidity, about mid-70s, sunshine, and we're set for a great night of baseball.
It is great baseball weather. So what happened last night, Zach? Do you have some info on that?
Well, if you're Rebels fans, you enjoyed the rebellion that happened in Charlottesville a night ago. 16-4, the final score. Newmarket erased a early 3-0 deficit that Charlottesville put on the board in the bottom of the first, and, well, Newmarket never really looked back, scoring 4 runs in the second, 4 runs in the fourth, and just kind of kept pouring it on after that. Charlottesville just unable to get that key reliever to really shut them down all night. That was really the backbone for the Tom Sox. We got the hits, we got the runners, just couldn't bring them home, and obviously keeping up with 16 runs is hard to do.
Indeed, but if you folks that watched the first inning or were present for the first inning would have been shocked what happened thereafter as the Tom Sox quickly went up 3-0, and our starting pitcher, Chase Anderson, looked anything like he'd going to be successful, but great faith shown in him by head coach Zach Cole, and he then had cruising throughout that time. Now, how did the Rebels get here? Well, they finished the regular season on a 7-game winning streak and then cruised through the early rounds of the playoff, 2-0 over Front Royal. It was the 2nd seed, Rebels were 3rd seed, and then we took care of 2-0 4 seed Winchester. And then we waited 4 days off while the South finished up. How did Charlottesville get here?
Well, Charlottesville kind of came in around 500 ball over the last couple of weeks. Really worked hard to get in the playoffs. They actually slid down. They ended up being the 2 seed, but they ended up with the same record as Waynesboro. And that first round took a week. 4 rainouts, 3 games, and of course the 3rd game took extra innings, had to go to 11 to knock off the Generals on a walk-off hit-by pitch.
I remember that.
And then, of course, the shortened 1-game series against the Covington Lumberjacks down in Covington. That was a home run fest. 6 home runs between the 2 squads, and for Charlottesville, these are guys that normally don't hit home runs in Martinet and Ching. Now, last night, Charlottesville's home run offense disappeared, and, well, Newmarket, they shook off the rust pretty quickly.
Indeed. Again, I think you might have mentioned, excuse me if I repeat, that they had to truncate the South Division Championship to 1 game because of all those rain delays. We're a little pressed for time. We're supposed to have a 7:30 first pitch, so we'd like to try to get at least Charlottesville's lineup in here at this time. Umpires have met, so Zach, you want to give your starting lineup?
Yeah, leading off will be the shortstop out of Virginia Commonwealth, Zach Ching. Batting second to first baseman Patrick McCall out of Harvard, and third will be right fielder Kirby McMullen out of Florida. Doing the cleanup tonight for Corey Hunt is the designated hitter out of Davidson College, Brett Centracchio. Stanford's catcher Nick Orr will bat 5th, and 6th, making his first start of the season for Charlottesville, will be left fielder out of the College of William & Mary, David Angstadt. Batting 7th will be Max Bazin. He's playing second base tonight out of Davidson. And 8th will be North Greenville center fielder Jack Morris. Turning over the line for Coach Corey Hunt in the Tom Sox is third baseman out of Stanford University, Nick Bellafronto. And on the mound will be right-hander Hunter Gregory of Old Dominion.
And your head coach, of course, is Corey Hunt there for Tom Sox. The current Coach of the Year for the Valley League with the champion Tom Sox. We got a new guy in that honor, and we'll tell you about that in a little bit. So here's your starting lineup for your homestanding Newmarket Rebels. Batting first from Florida International University, playing second shortstop, number 4, Kobe Lopez. And the 2 spot, the Valley League Most Valuable Player from the University of South Carolina, Gamecocks, number 10, left fielder Andrew Eister. And the 3 spot, third base, North Georgia College and State University, wearing number 11, Chase Sudduth. Cleanup guy for the Rebels tonight from Wallace Community College, number 22, Oraj Anu. Batting 5th for the Rebels from Hampton-Sydney College, number 19 at first base, Andrew Kasiski. In the 6th spot from Stetson University, number 8 playing center field. 8 is in 8. That's Austin Bogart. 7th spot from Florida International University, and in right field, number 18, Adon Fernandez. Batting 8th for the Rebels from Alabama State University, number 5, Chris de Guzman. Again, he's at second base. And 9th spot, catching tonight from Lincoln Memorial University, number 33, Hank Moore. On the mound for the Rebels, getting his playoff start, Nick Catone. He's from Elmira College. He's number 41. 3-0 record, 5.40 regular season ERA. And we pause for our national anthem. Their national anthem sung for us in person by Tacey Hawkins, who's done that many years for the Rebels. Your head coach for Newmarket Rebels in his 3rd year is Zach Cole. Pitching coach is back for his 3rd year, also Joe Lapore, assisted by Brandon Matthews, and a local high school coach also assisting, Jeremy Knight. Again, if you drove through here between 2 and 3 p.m., you wouldn't have thought that the game could happen tonight.
Yeah, a lot of rain fell in Charlottesville. Multiple inches came down this afternoon, but for some reason, the skies parted around Newmarket, and we're set for game 2.
That's really outstanding. So at Rebel Park, which a lot of people say, and we agree, is one of the nicest settings for baseball park in the region, we faced almost due east. The Massanutten Mountain is in the background. So because of that situation, the sun field is in effect. Some clouds are helping, but first base, second base, right field this time of day usually has real trouble with the sun. Our Game Information Center is casting a shadow out there. So on June 1st, the Rebels lost their season opener 5-4 to the Woodstock River Bandits, who managed to win 5 games the whole season, and we gave them 2 of them. And so here we are 67 days later, and the Rebels are trying to win the James Lionel Weaver Memorial Trophy. So Catone's a righty. I think he's 6'5", from Elmira, and he's 4-0 on the season. He's had several starts that he didn't quite go 5, and I think that's a trend almost in the league, Zach, this year.
Yeah, most starters you only see go 4 or 5 innings if you've really been efficient on the night, and that's really what both of these guys are going to be here to do, go 4 innings and give it up to the bullpen with the lead. That's the goal for both of these managers, and we'll see which one has their dream at the end of 4 innings.
Here's your leadoff batter, Zach Ching. Got some numbers, Zach, please. Thank you. Righty batter, righty pitcher.
Ching, during the regular season, batted .283. He has 2 home runs in the postseason, his only 2 of the summer.
Yeah, good timing. First pitch of the game. a little bit inside, and we're starting at 7:32. So there's a ball to start the game from Nick Catone.
Also,
oh, they say 7:31. Okay, sorry.
7:31 works for us.
All right, and there's called strike. It's 1-1. See, Rebels in the field. Eisters in left, Bogart in center, Fernandez in right, Sudduth at third, Lopez short, De Guzman second, Kasiski first. Pitch coming inside and low, 2-1. Doing the catching tonight is Hank Moore, and again on the mound for the Rebels is Nick Catone, returning player from last year.
And also on Ching, he's actually batting .421 in the postseason.
Line drive right to Kobe Lopez, and he like he wants to do, he dances that ball out of his glove into his hand. He's a little bit fancy guy out there, but very talented. So L6 starts the game. And here comes Pat McCall.
Yeah, McCall batting .316 in the postseason, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. He has walked those 7 times, and 5 of the 7 have been intentional walks.
That's rare and amazing. So lefty batter that clearly opponents rather put on than him getting extra bases. Swing and a miss on a low outside fastball. It was over the plate. That's 0-1. He did not swing at a bad pitch. Don't want to say that. Is he an alley guy, McCall?
Yeah, he likes to split the right center field alley very often.
Ball is low and gets away from her catcher. No damage. There's 1-1.
One thing he's worked on over the course of the summer is going the other way. I've still yet to really see him put one down the left field line. He now can spread it to the left center gap. That's about as far that way as he goes. So not much work for Eister right now in left.
It's a tough thing to learn for sure, especially if you spent since high school kind of pulling the ball. But a necessary skill if you want to be real successful, especially at the major league level with so many shifts. Inside edge for a called strike, 1 and 2.
That's where you can get McCall is on the inside corner of the plate because he has such long arms, such long legs at 6'6", that he can't extend to that hand spot like a normal guy could.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Next pitch, swing and a miss, and it's almost like you predicted where that pitch would be. I don't know if Hank Moore has a book on McCall, but he goes down swinging, 2 outs. Lead the game here, underway, Kirby McMullen. The plate now. How's Kirby doing?
Kirby's done really well at the plate for the second half of the season. He also has pitched for the Tom Sox. He pitched the game at Covington.
Low and away for a ball. I think he has a standard stance, kind of right middle of the box. And the weather's getting amazingly nice. It's almost like, is this the same day that we had earlier?
It definitely doesn't feel like it right now.
There's a foul back behind us to the right. That's 1-1.
McMullen got the win at Covington in the South Division Championship. Pitched 5 strong innings.
1-1 pitch coming from Nick Catone, just underway here at Rebel Park in the Game 2 of the Valley League Championship Series. Way outside a pitch, his motion looked like it wasn't like he wanted it, and his grip so it wasn't either. So 2-1. On deck is Brett Contraccio. I'm going to try to open Facebook here, and thank you folks for joining us. Fouled off to the right. Now it is 2-2. Again, we have enhanced video technology. Been building that throughout the season with 6 cameras in effect tonight. So you shouldn't miss much of the action.
Yeah, I should be able to see just about everything here tonight.
Here comes the 2-2. Is outside 3-2. Distances at Rebel Park down each fair line is 322. Straightaway center is 367. Straightaway right at the Way Cavern sign, been painted over, is 345. And one more to give you. There's a walk. First base runner of the night, of course. And it's better than leadoff walk, but not as good as no walks. And here comes Brett Contraccio.
Centracchio batting this postseason an even .250. 5 hits, a double. He's also walked twice, but the big number, the 5 strikeouts in his plate appearances.
Righto, the one distance I need to give you is left field. A little bit to the center of that is 381. Biggest poke in the field is at the scoreboard, 385. Lefty batter, guy on first, 2 outs, just underway at Rebel Park. Game 2 of the championship series. The Rebels cruise through game 1, a 1-0. The count's 1-0, 16-4. Wow. Swing and a miss on a pitch pretty much off the plate. 1-1. But history's really not destiny either in the Valley League. We played a doubleheader here against Strasburg, probably 2/3 of the way through the season. I'll tell you how it went. And there's a called strike, and Moore stands up did not throw down, but the umpire was pretty delayed in making the call, so 1-2. We won the first game. Again, the doubleheaders are 7 innings in the league, 15-5 with 20 hits, and we lost the next one that started 40 minutes later, 9-1. There's a tapper bunt effect. They better try to let that go foul. They're going to beat this out. They called him out. Interesting. All right. So catcher Moore is probably in a dilemma about whether to let that thing go foul, because I would have bet on it being a hit. But you got your 2-3 put out on that, and that's the inning. It's no runs, no hits, no errors. One guy left for Charlottesville here in Game 2 of the Valley League Championship Series.
For over a year now, you've heard me talking about your price and our $99 processing fee. Why? Because at Jim Stutzman Chevrolet, transparency means everything. For nearly 40 years, our reputation has been forged on a foundation of honesty and integrity in an industry that hasn't always lived up to these principles. But don't just take my word for it. Come by, visit with the professional staff at Jim Stutzman's, and experience it for yourself. We're Jim Stutzman Chevrolet, 2700 Valley Avenue, home of your price and the $99 processing fee.
Welcome back for Game 2 of the Valley Baseball League Championship Series from Rebel Park. I'm your webcaster, Dennis Atwood, joined by a Tom Sox crew guy, and we appreciate it, Zach Hamilton. So the Rebels have their first at-bats here. They're going to face Hunter Gregory, who was 1-1 in the regular season, 1.50 ERA, and he has a win in the postseason with a 0 ERA. Here's Kobe Lopez for the Rebels.
And for Gregory on the mound, he's a reliever by trade. At Old Dominion, he's a reliever. So he's going to come right after you, hard fastball, good breaking pitch. He's not going to waste any time.
Looks like he has maybe a 3/4 arm slot based on warm-ups, but no, so pitch a little high for a ball. So do you mind giving us a few stats on Kobe?
Yeah, for Kobe Lopez after his pitch.
Swing and a miss on a nice pitch on the outer edge. It's a 1-1.
He's batting .294 in the postseason, 5 of 17, but the important stat for Kobe, 8 runs scored. At the top of your lineup, you want to get the guy on and get him around. That's what he's done.
Called strike. Gregory's in there with that one, 1-2. On deck is Andrew Eister.
Had plenty of stats on him.
I was going to just say we might need more than an inning. Line drive out of the glove of Bellafronto, and he beats it out, and there's an overthrow at first, and Kobe spun his wheels a little bit. There might be a play. No play called for. So we're going to see how that's scored. That would be a hit, but I don't know if it was in his glove and out. We're not sure. And
yeah, I would normally say it would be a hit and an error, and that's actually what's going on the board. So it's a hit and then an advancement on an error for Lopez.
Single to 5, if you will, and then a E5. And again, leadoff guys on, just like you were saying, Zach, the importance of that.
And then here comes Andrew Eister, the Valley League MVP, batting .375 in the postseason, 10 RBIs in 5 games.
So we got a guy in scoring position already for the Rebels, for Eister. And he pokes it out to right. It looks catchable. It's fair in the right field line, but right just in fair territory. Lopez tags and goes easily. That's the virtue of hits to right field. So there's an F9 and advancement to third. We'll tell you more about Eister later. There's a whole bunch to say. So the Rebels got a guy on third with only 1 out now. Here's Chase Sudduth.
Sudduth batting .389 in the postseason, 7 of 18, 7 runs scored for Sudduth, 5 RBIs. So he's kind of like the hybrid, half Lopez, half Eister.
Another returning player for the Rebels, very reliable last year, and he's really good in the clutch. He's got huge RBIs in the regular season. We'll mention that. 35, tied for first in the league in RBIs. Swing and a miss, 0-1. He has a real talent to go oppo, too, as a righty, therefore puts the ball in right field. And like you said, or I said, and you nodded, you can advance more with hits to right than you can hits to left because you're running away from the ball once you round first. Next pitch is outside from Gregory. It's 1-1. On deck is Oraj Anu. Rebels have been bunting more this year. Third year for Coach Zach Cole. He wanted to increase the speed. He did that last year with stolen bases. Pitch looked low, but it's called a strike. 1-2. That was crowd kind of agrees with me. Not that the vote counts.
It's still an important vote because the umpire will have to hear it all night long.
Especially if he does that. So 1-2 on number 3 batter Chase Lopez. We got one down and a runner on third for the Rebels. Their first at bats here in Game 2 of the Valley League Championship Series from Newmarket. There's a bouncer off the second, and it might score a run, and it will. So again, a hit to the right side does the job. 4-3 RBI. I think that's how Sudduth got his first RBI last night.
That is indeed exactly how he got it, scoring Lopez. And for Newmarket, you're picking up right where you left off, and for the Tom Sox, you're going to have to find a way to get on the board quickly here. Otherwise, this one will likely get out of hand just because Newmarket is that strong offensively.
Orajanu, switch hitter, designated hitter. Of course, batting left-handed against the righty throwing a Gregory. Nobody on for, he can have a really electric bat. Inside corner, caught for a called strike. He has, I would say, lately liked to go fishing at the plate, however. He's not really obeyed the strike zone issue very well. Back off to the left.
3 strikeouts a night ago in his first 3 plate appearances. Then he walked, which was a change for Anu, and then he had a single in that one as well.
Regular season 339. 8 home runs, tied for third in the league. Good eye that time, benefited him, 1-2. We fondly remember Oraj Anu for an appearance at Winchester where he hit a grand slam. 32 runs in the regular season, tied for 6 in the league. And another foul. Count holds 1-2. Want to talk slugging percentages because the Rebels really have specialized in extra base hits. I think you guys observed that last night. 634 slugging regular season for 4th in the league for Anu. Looks like Bryce Harper at the plate stance as far as I'm concerned. He reaches out and gets that one, fouls it away.
For all the young hitters at home watching, one of the keys to baseball, leveling out that elbow. And Anu does a great job of leveling out the elbow, just like Harper does, like a lot of major leaguers do. It's something that I've seen a few guys, once you start to tuck that arm, it's hard to get the bat through the zone.
And it's right off the shortstop. Ching had a little trouble getting out of his glove, but there's a 6-3 put out, and that retires the side. No scoring there, and the Rebels pick up a run on Lopez's leadoff single to short, advanced to second on an error on a throw in that play. And then Sudduth, let me reconstruct it better for you. There's a fly out to right field. Lopez tagged and went to third, and that meant Lopez's ground out to the right side was good enough for an RBI, and that's how we scored. We're through 1 at Rebel Park, 1-0 Newmarket. So we're going to see top of the second for your Tom Sox. You're going to have the 5, 6, 7 guys: Nick Orr, David, and read my own writing. Excuse me, I'll get it for you. Engstad, that's an A, right?
Yep.
Engstad, a fairly new acquirer for you guys.
Very new acquirer. This is actually his first start. He got his first at bat last night, and he singled the center on the second pitch he saw, so he's batting 1,000 on the season.
How about that? So a new arrival paying off right away for the Tom Sox. And then Max Bazin, third guy up this inning. I think one of the real stories, we got a little time here, Catone's back out the pitch, as far as how teams were doing in the regular season versus playoffs. And the Rebels pitching staff has done a remarkable turn. The regular season, the staff ERA was 5.09, which is higher than you want. But in the postseason, already now through 5 games, 2.40. as a staff. So
Yeah, and actually the only reason it's that high is because we scored 4 runs last night. Coming into last night, it was 2 even.
Awesome. So already had the big bats, great offense for the Rebels, and now they've added the pitching, and that's why the success so far, 4-0 and 5-0 in the postseason. Nick Orr, righty batter, right up the middle. Slowly hit though. De Guzman cuts it off before it gets to the outfield. Wow, and there's an out. And there was a throw on a hop that had to be scooped by Kosiski, so Nick Orr needed maybe another Orr to get down there.
Yeah, the catcher not running. He's not obviously the fastest runner being a catcher, but great play by De Guzman up the middle. That ball fisted off right next to his knuckle and just had no actual life to the hit at all.
Yeah, when you first saw it off the bat, you thought, oh, that's up the middle, but like you said, no speed behind it. Here's Angstadt, new guy who's already paid off for Charlottesville, righty batter. Pitch is a little high, 1-0. Sun no longer an issue for the guys on the right side of the field. Almost the same spot, but it's got a strike that time, 1-1.
Another difference between here and Seville Weekly, y'all have crickets.
We do. We're right near a residential area with trees, and it's fouled off to the right by Angstadt. 1-2. And right behind us, our neighbor, we're not going to ask anybody to swing the camera to take a look, but he's got an unofficial junkyard back there. It's got 85,000 targets in it, and he has some exotic birds, which I gratefully don't hear tonight. They are strange. 1-2 pitch, 1 out is outside. 2-2. So that's the second time I've seen Catone make that delivery, and I don't know if he's trying to do an outside slider or something, but his front foot's kind of not landing where he wants to. Fouled off to the right. So Zach, you're a very observant guy. On that pitch, his front foot seems to go further to the left than his normal delivery.
Well, it's like he has a cutter naturally, and he's trying to make it a slider by basically pushing his body to kind of will the pitch farther off. I'd say that slider's probably not his first primary breaking pitch. Probably, I'm assuming he has a curveball. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming he has a solid curveball, and he's trying to develop the slider.
Pitch is low. We got a full count now on David Angstadt. We're in the top of the second, and there's a second walk issued by Catone.
Keeps the perfect 1,000 batting average.
Max Bazin up there now for Charlottesville.
Bazin actually came in batting just 188 in the regular season, came into the postseason, got some more at-bats with a few guys going down with injury. He comes in tonight batting an even 250, a couple of RBIs. He's really kind of picked himself back up off the mat, if you will, come postseason play.
Well, that's great. Summer ball, you want to be able to do that, be able to improve anything that's going negative before you get back to school. Fastball, nice on the outer half from Catone, called strike on 1. On deck now is Jack Morris, who had a great put out at the plate last night. If I'm remembering correctly, Zach will correct me if I mess up on any of that. Swing and a miss.
Yep, you're exactly on. That was in the first inning, got Lopez at the plate. Great throw from Morris. And when you look at him, he looks like a middle linebacker. His biceps are huge for an outfielder.
There you go, okay. He zipped that one in. It was not even close at the plate. Swing and a miss. The huge biceps didn't help him that time, down swinging. That's the second out. Whenever I think Jack Morris, I think of the old Detroit Tigers pitcher. I can't help myself. Okay. Here is
this is Jack Morris. That was Bazin that struck out.
Yes, of course it was. That's why I got an assistant, folks. You're supposed to be able to see this Facebook Live video through the Rebels website, and I'm not finding it. I'll go back through the league. I want to see what you guys are saying. Called strike to Morris, 0-1. Again, we got 2 outs. Guy on first. Angstadt drew Catone's second walk of the game. And that's a ball. In addition to enhanced technology at the field of origin for our broadcast, they should be linked through several teams' mound visit by Catcher Moore out there. Can you calm with
I have it.
Graham? Oh.
Newmarket. It's at the top of the feed if you go to Helm.
Thank you. We got tech assistants right next to us. It is on the Newmarket Facebook page. And called strike. It's 1-2 and just a little bit outside, 2-2. Trying to do a little tech talk, folks, while I do this for you. Also, you can go to the VBL website, of course, and they have their Facebook page there.
Keep going.
Thank you, David. Get the wrong one. And there's another ball. Now, full count. That's the second one of those that Catone has worked into this inning. We are in the top of the second at Rebel Park.
2 walks, 2 strikeouts so far.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. So it doesn't matter that he might have had the steal. 2 strikeouts to end that inning smartly for Catone. Same totals as first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. And it's 1-0. Newmarket mid-second. And we're trying to use our cursor to navigate my computer.
Are you guys turned off right now? Going down.
So we want to let you know that this is the Lina Weaver Trophy, and I want to tell you about Jim Lina Weaver, whose name it bears, and he's one of the inaugural class for the Valley League Hall of Fame. His namesake for the Valley League Championship Trophy, he worked for the league as a Harrisonburg's business manager in 1934, was a member of the VBL Board of Directors from 1963 to 1990. Along with several decades in the front office of the Harrisonburg Turks, Jim Lina Weaver held various administrative roles with the league, including Public Relations Director, Executive Vice President, and Executive Secretary. He remained active in the league, but at the time he passed away January 3rd, 1990. And it's certainly a handsome trophy. I've seen it. We don't have one to show you tonight, but that's what it's about, the Jim Lina Weaver Trophy, which currently was at the Tom Sox offices from this time basically last year, and they're trying to defend it, but against that defense is being sorely pressed by the Rebels here.
Yeah, the Rebels are coming on with an urgency. You got yours up now. You got the scroll to get to the comments, but you can now say hello to everyone else saying hello, and you've got a lot of them to read.
Can't get to them all. Thank you folks for coming in and watching us. Lefty batting, Andrew Kosiski, fairly new guy, who's done really well for the Rebels out of Hampton-Sydney College.
Yeah, even just in the postseason, he's batting .368 with 4 runs, 2 RBIs.
First pitch from Gregory is a ball, 1-0. Kosiski has a rifle arm. He caught a few games in the early goings here, and he would sometimes get the ball to the bag before the fielder got there. Fouled back, which is rare.
He caught last night. He got to see it a few times. He's got a cannon.
And so I interviewed him separately about that, and I said, how about you? Yeah, I've always had a strong arm, but look, my coaches say, it's my job to get the ball down there. It's the fielder's job to be on the bag, so that's his view. In the dirt, low, 2-1. Again, 3-game sets for the standard format for playoffs, but again, because of extensive rain delays in the South Division, the league had to decide to do the South Championship Sunday in a 1-game format that Charlottesville beat Covington. Called outer edge, is called strike, 2-2. Now Covington had the best regular season record in the league, and so they were having the 1 seed throughout. If they could have done it, it was 26-16.
Well, once the Generals were eliminated.
Right up the middle, line drive. Instead of Orr's hit was soft, but this one was smacked. Kosiski made great contact, single to center. Rebels' second hit of the game.
Second time in a row the leadoff man was on. Newmarket also had the leadoff man on in 5 of the first 6 innings a night ago, and that led to 16 runs.
Eventually it did. You're absolutely right, Zach. It's a great formula for success. All right, so here's Austin Bogart. He actually goes, pitches and plays the field, but mostly in the field from Stetson University. And talk about some playoff experience. Stetson swept their NCAA regional, but won out in the super regional. Righty batter, righty pitcher.
Batting .385. 3 RBIs, 5 hits.
Nice pitch, inner edge, called strike. I was almost tempted to swing at that one from up here. I saw it well.
Yeah, this is a great vantage point up here on the web deck. It's awesome to be able to call games outside. You get so used to being in a press box.
Next pitch is popped off to the right, goes out of play, I do believe. Speaking about catches down the right field line, is that McCall is your first baseman, or?
McCall is at first base tonight, yes.
But whoever was at first base last night made a fantastic foul ball catch.
At first base last night, I believe that was McCall that caught it in the right field bullpen.
It was awesome. I don't know that distance, but it was an amazing catch. It's high. It's 1-2 now. I'm sorry I missed the pitch, ladies and gentlemen. 1-2. I can't read a lot of the comments. We'll get to them when we can. Facebook Live. We try to make it interactive. Hi, Bill Rice. Ms. McCracken. Bridget. Pitch is swung on a miss, so there's a strikeout. Down goes Bogart, and that is Gregory's first strikeout.
That's kind of surprising. Gregory, a strikeout guy on the mound during the regular season. 33 strikeouts, just 7 walks.
That's a pretty good ratio.
That's a very good ratio.
Here's a Don Fernandez, right fielder. Got a pretty good arm and has power in his bat, though it's been a long time since he hit a home run. But he's been doing well in the postseason. Got too many papers here to tell you the exact numbers. Maybe Zach can find them faster.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I understand. Runner on first, 1 out for the Rebels. Gregory delivers, and there's a big poke, and that may or may not get caught. It falls to the right toward the third baseline of the right fielder Angstadt. So a long single to left puts guys on first and second with 1 out for the Rebels.
And Fernandez there, that's probably the hardest hit ball he's had in this championship series. He got a few hits a night ago, but they were all kind of weak pokes that just fell over the infield, or he actually got an infield hit at one point in that one as well. So finally squaring it up, getting some good wood on it.
So here's Chris de Guzman, batting from the left side. 8 batter for Newmarket.
For de Guzman, as Gregory's working on the mound, batting .221 over the regular season. In the postseason, batting .235, so pretty consistent. He hasn't really jumped up or jumped down. He's been pretty normal throughout.
Generous strike call on the outer part. And I'm pretty particular. You might have heard me be a little controversial. I call it the fair line and fair pole because if the ball hits it, it's fair. But sometimes commentators, even Major League commentators, say a pitch is on the black. Well, there is no black. I mean, I know they mean the outer edge. Now, in the 50s and 60s, when I was, I go back that far, there's a ball. They did manufacture some plates that high schools used. They actually did have black rubber
coping around, yep.
But it's not there anymore, folks. And so it just means as a pitch, I'll probably get a pitcher's call on a throw, on an attempt there is what that means in the bigs. Right now we got a 1-1 on the Goose. And he lifts it into left field. Might hold him, might send him. I think they might have learned from last night. Don't send him so early in the game. We had 2 guys thrown out the plate early. Bases loaded on the 3rd hit of the inning. That single to left for de Guzman.
And great job by David Angstadt, who's out there in left tonight making his first start. To our records, he's an infielder, but he's learning the outfield life fairly quickly here.
Bases loaded for the Rebels. 1 out. Solid single up the middle by Kosiski, a strikeout by Bogart, a single to left by Fernandez, way down the left field line, and that was a standard good hit line drive there by de Guzman. Here's Hank Moore, our catcher. Fouls it back, 0-1.
I have to say, one of your fans that's walking back towards his car right now in a gold jacket is quite the sight.
That's one of the members of our board of directors. That's Jared Thompson, and he's a huckster for the raffle and what have you. So he likes to draw attention. You can't miss him, right?
Yeah, you cannot miss him. He caught my attention all the way down the left field line.
Called strike, at the lower part of the knees. Hank Moore's 0-2 with the bases loaded. I know he's tempted to deliver. I know he wants to deliver. He'll come back in view. The fellow with the gold sport coat. Jared Thompson. All right, Rebels got golden opportunity here with 1 out, leading 1-0. Swing and a miss. Hank wanted that one badly, and he goes down. 2 down. So Gregory is almost escaped from jail here. Is at the top of the order, Kobe Lopez, who has lots of ways of getting on with his speed.
Yeah, and we saw McCracken last night. He escaped a few tight ones as well. I mean, while it's 16-4 and that sounds really bad, it had a chance to be a lot worse.
Rebels left 12 guys on, had 2 guys thrown out at the plate. Point taken. Is that small comfort, though, for Tom Sox fans, right?
Got to take the silver lining somewhere.
We think a ball. Yeah, Lopez actually backed out of there. Don't know why. I don't think the pitch was that far inside. It's 1-0.
It's still 1-0.
Here comes Gregory's pitch. It gets away from him, so it looks like a wild pitch. One's going to score, maybe. No, he almost had a chance to get him at the plate, but he's in a hurry to try to get the out, and it was not catchable by Gregory covering the plate. So the Rebels' second run comes in as Kosiski crosses the plate.
Tough way, a wild pitch putting on the second run for Newmarket here, and Gregory has his hand on his back. He's walking to the mound. He had to stretch kind of awkwardly there.
He did.
To reach across the plate to try to catch that ball. At least he got a glove on it and knocked it down. Otherwise, that one was going to roll all the way out to Ching.
Gregory's credit, he was in the proper position, ready to receive Orr's attempt, and I think a nice toss. You guys might have got him out at the plate.
Here comes Ryan Mossman, the pitching coach of the Tom Sox. He saw Gregory hold his back, and he's coming out to have a chat. Umpire out to check on him, which is typically what we see in injury, and they're calling on the trainer.
So a very unfortunate development for Gregory. Bases loaded. He loses the wild pitch that Orr can't grab off to his right. It goes all the way to the backstop. And Lopez didn't get it, it was Kosiski. Didn't get the greatest jump, but he's coming steaming down there, and the toss from Orr was offline, if you will, to the third base side, and Gregory tried to twist his body to get it, so his lower back has definitely got an issue.
Well, the problem was Kosiski was right there. If Kosiski had been another step back, Gregory would have laid out, got the ball, and probably got the out. But he had to bend around the runner, and it just created a bad situation, and that's gonna be it. Gregory's day is done.
Kosiski being 6'0", 195, he's a little power in him. Got a pitching change due to injury, we think, for the Tom Sox.
That's Jake Hirschman.
Jake Hirschman coming on the pitch. And an unfortunate development for Hunter Gregory in his playoff start. And there's some muscle problems, not in your throwing arm, of course, you can tolerate, but the back, no, you can't.
Yeah, in pitching, you'll hear about guys getting tired, and throughout their start, they'll stop bending their back, and then all of a sudden, all their fastballs will miss high. So the fact that he would not be able to bend his back would have made it almost impossible for him to really continue in this one.
Would have made things worse for sure.
Hirschman out of Wofford College. He pitched in the Covington game as well, so he has postseason experience this summer. 2 appearances, one against Waynesboro, one against Covington. 6 innings pitched, a 4.5 ERA. During the regular season, though, he had much better stats, if you will. 30 1/3 innings, 3.26 ERA. Struck out 27 while walking just 8. He's another big strikeout guy.
Yep, yes, and I'm sure he didn't anticipate. I didn't look, he was not in the pen, so he's going to be given as many pitches as he needs.
Yeah, he came straight out of the dugout. And ideally, as a Tom Sox fan coming into tonight, your ideal situation, you get a lead, Gregory goes 4, Hirschman goes 4, and Menendez closes in the 9th. And that would have been the golden opportunity. Obviously, you don't have the lead, and you don't have Gregory anymore, so the Tom Sox and Corey Hunter are already going to have to scramble here in basically what's an elimination game.
It can be, yep. Best of 3. The Rebels captured the first one. And unanticipated development, a real challenge to the coach. Make this adjustment. And I think, without looking at the box score, I think Tom Sox maybe used 6 pitchers last night, 5 for sure.
6 pitchers a night ago for Charlottesville, 3 for Newmarket.
Trying to access another website, folks.
I'm actually, this is just a note for me to go back and speak on from earlier in the ball game on David Angstadt, who was in left field. He is still primarily an infielder, but he's really a utility guy. He can play the outfield. He also can pitch as well, which is news to me and probably news to everyone listening at home except for David and his family
at William
members.
and Mary?
At William and Mary.
It's interesting because, of course, the normal thing at that level is, okay, head coaches want to say, okay, we know you can do this, this, and this, but for the benefit of the team, we need you to specialize and concentrate on one of those. But so is Mr. Utility.
Few utility guys on the Tom Sox this summer. They've been great. Kirby, another guy, outfielder, pitcher.
I've had pretty good analysis from people that I trust that being a utility guy hurt a really great 2-year Valley League player in the Major League draft, and that's Brandon Quaranta of Strasburg. He had 2 really fine years, and was surprised that he wasn't drafted, and a couple people who are in the know said it's probably because he had been a utility guy. So, interesting.
That's interesting. Typically, you look at that as a bonus.
Yeah.
But when you're splitting your time, you're splitting your knowledge at each position. So I can see where it goes both ways. But back on the mound, Hirschman finishing up his warm-up pitches here. So he's actually towing the rubber now instead of just like tossing.
The Rebels right now have a 2-0 lead. We're in the bottom of the second of Game 2 of the League Championship Series. The run came in on a wild pitch, and it was the attempt to catch catcher Orr's throw back to the plate, trying to get Kosiski out, that resulted in a lower back injury, if you really want to know, to the right side of Gregory. So unfortunate to see that, especially in this game. And again, Hirschman, that's Hershman, gets as many warm-ups as he wants, and he's taken plenty. You can't blame him.
It's a good spot if you are for Gregory. I know obviously getting hurt's not what you want to do, but he's got some of the best guys in the world over there. Jim Darren, who is their strength and conditioning coach, he works for UVA, so he can fix.
Indeed.
He can fix it. It might not be the funnest thing to let him fix.
Exactly.
But he's going to fix it.
Yeah. So lots of guys. 2 guys out there are still Gregory's quote accountability responsibility for stats, so we can't quite close the line on him. Lopez finally gets back in there. He's got a 2-0 count on him, and he gets a new pitcher to look at. He got the infield single to third in the first inning, went to second on a bad throw by Bellafronto, and scored the Rebels' first run on a hit to the right side by Mr. RBI, Chase Sutta. Ties with the league lead, regular season 35. Lopez skies it out to left, should be easily handleable for Engstack, and it is for the F7. So, 1 pitch, job done by Hirschman. And end of 2, it is 2-0 Newmarket.
The 2018 season's just about over, but it's not too soon to start thinking about next year, especially if you're a business looking to promote your services and support the community at the same time. Hello everyone, my name is Graham Knight, and on behalf of the Valley Baseball League, I would like to invite you to participate in our live stream broadcast. Today more than ever, customers are looking for community give back from the businesses they support. Perfect example is Jim Stutzman Chevrolet of Winchester, Virginia. Jim Stutzman Chevrolet is a community partner in a number of ways in Winchester. For example, this year they sponsored all 6 teams in the Northern Division. Tom's Shoes is another example. When a customer shops at Tom's Shoes, not only do they buy a pair of shoes for themselves, but they provide a pair of shoes for someone in need. Why not baseball? If you're a business looking to support the community and get your message out, the Valley League is the perfect place for you. Here's why. Once we pay for the cost of producing these live streams, the remaining profits are returned to the league and the teams. This is the perfect way to get your message out and support Valley League action, not only in the Shenandoah Valley, but across the country. If this sounds of interest to you, please reach out to me. My email address is graham@isomermedia.com. That's graham@isomermedia.com. I promise you will find a marketing package that matches your budget needs and helps bring the Valley Baseball League action to fans everywhere. Now back to the action.
Zach's mom. She's right.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1 on Centracchio.
Back on.
It's 0-2 Centracchio. They're solving some technical audio issues, we understand. High and away, 1-2. Here we are in Game 2 from Newmarket of the Valley League Championship Series.
In case the audio was off there a second ago, that's Zach Ching scoring one in there for the Tom Sox off a hit by Patrick McCall.
Foul back. The 1-2 holds. On deck is Nick Orr. I'm going to try to take a peek at what the official scoring was on that ground ball to the third base side of shortstop, so I can get my score sheet to agree with it. Catone's ready. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, so down he goes. That retires the side. But the Tom Sox do get on the board with 1 run. Let's say 2 hits, 1 error, and a guy left on. So your interpretation of the hit is indeed the hit. And so we are in the middle of the third, and it is 2-1 Newmarket. We'd like to mention guys that were honored by being all Valley League selections this year. First, mention the Coach of the Year was Covington's Alex Kothheimer. I read the blurb as a 12-win switch for the Lumberjacks this year, and ended up with the best league record, 26-16 regular season.
Yeah, he did a great job. That was actually his first head coaching gig ever with the Lumberjacks.
Wow. The league's slugging percentage is .781, and he fouls that one off. Thanks for giving me a little more time. Takes a while to describe all this. Buttressing his most valuable player selection. Slugging percentage .781, on base percentage .511. So more than half the time he came to the plate, he got on base. 9 home runs. Now that's in 32 games. 9 home runs. 35 RBIs, 4th in the league. 48 hits. Swing and a miss there. So down he goes. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, being 0 for 2 is something he hasn't done all that much this season. So if statistics hold, he's going to get on every time now.
We shall see. Here's Chase Sudduth, who got an RBI ground out in the first inning. Sudduth lives famously in our lore for getting the walk-off hit in our first playoff game last year. Rebels scored 4 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th to win that one. And he got the walk-off single to right. Fastball is low from Hirschman, 0-1. Extremely pleasant now, if there's such a thing. It is really great for baseball. Coolish. Humidity's gone from probably 82% to maybe 50%. There's a ground ball to shortstop. Ching, scoops it up. Quick throw, and that was important because that was close at first.
Sudduth really can get down the line. Sudduth's a bigger guy, but Ching really had to put the muscle in that one. I'd take Lopez and Ching probably out of all the shortstops in the Valley League as far as the best arm. The two of them have insanely fast arms.
They do. They do. So here's Orajanu, grounded out. 6-3 first inning. Called strike on him, 0-1. Again, in the last week of the regular season, he was the Signs USA Player of the Week. And he fouls that one off, 0-2. See if I can quickly find the blurb, those amazing numbers that earned him that honor. In the 1 week, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 524 batting average in 5 games. So, yeah.
That's a pretty solid week at the plate.
Swing and a miss there. He goes down on one knee. So 1-2-3 inning for reliever Hirschman. In the bottom of the third. We're finished 3 in Game 2 of the playoffs. It is Newmarket 2, Charlottesville 1. So again, Zach Cole is in now for his 3rd year with the Rebels, and the record kind of is like this. First year, a 18-24, and then he turned that around to 24-17. That's only 41 games, but we did not have to play the last rain out. It didn't matter for the seedings and all. And here this year, you know, we're 24-18, knotted up with Purcellville, and no, Purcellville was first by one win. We're knotted up with Front Royal. They had the head-to-head with us, so that sorted it out that way. So we finished the insane last couple of days of the season. It was extended 2 days, and there were 10 games scheduled on the Thursday. They didn't get them all played, but a couple teams had to play double headers, had to play in more than one town to finish up the season. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it was a tough break for everyone really involved.
Looks like Nick Catone is still out there for Newmarket.
Looks like he's going to try to get his stereotypical 4 innings, as the doctor would say.
So Catone's going to face for Charlottesville here in the top of the 4th. Nick Orr, David Angstadt, and Max Bazin. Tight game here now. At this stage last night, it wasn't this tight.
No, it wasn't as tight as it was a night ago.
And I'm happy to note that we can now turn over the play-by-play to Zach Hamilton. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, thank you. Give me a few innings here in the middle of this one as Charlottesville's trying to climb out of a 2-1 deficit here early in Game 2 at Rebel Park. 1 run in the first, 1 run in the second for Newmarket. Charlottesville got a run in the top to third off a single and an error by Kobe Lopez. Here in the top to fourth, it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Starting it off will be the catcher, Nick Orr. Last time grounded out to the Guzman at second up the middle. First offering from Catone, swung on a missed, high fastball inside for strike 1.
Real nice crowd like we would expect for a playoff game here at Newmarket. It's a small town, about 2,200 folks.
Second pitch, change up, low and outside, 1-1, and I'd say a good percentage here is your stands is completely full. Charlottesville's 75% full.
Of course, Rebel fans don't come just from the town, they come from the region.
Single back up the middle. That one's going to head out to right center field for Nick Orr, so he's on with a leadoff hit. Charlottesville has something cooking here in the 4th. Bring up David Angstadt. He's still batting 1,000 on the season. Officially 1 for 1. He picked up a walk in his first at-bat tonight.
Third hit of the game for your Tom Sox.
I think Angstadt would be happy if he could go the whole summer with 1,000 batting average.
Probably not going to happen, but he could.
It's very possible as Catone settles in, working on the stretch. Fastball high, ball 1. And that's something Catone hasn't had to do a whole lot of in his 4 innings. Just the 3rd hit of the night for Charlottesville.
Indeed.
Now the 1-0. That one's low, ball 2 now. Or not venturing very far over there at first. We mentioned his speed getting down the line last time was average for a catcher.
Yes, which benefited the Rebels.
Probably not going very far on the 2-0. That's upstairs, 3-0 now. So Catone struggling a little to find the zone here in the 4th.
I don't have him throwing a strike yet this inning.
I agree with you.
So Nick needs to find that zone.
3-0. Fastball right down Main Street. Angstadt taking all the way. No action in the Rebel pen as he's looking to go 4 innings plus. And a check swing at the plate is going to end up being a strike, and Angstadt would like to have that one back.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
He just checked the swing, caught the knob of the bat. Now it's a full count. So big payoff pitch coming here from Catone. You would like to get it out on the board instead of putting a second man on base. Angstadt with other ideas at the plate. Right-hander stares in. Now the payoff pitch is popped straight back, and Dennis, that one's coming pretty close to us here on the web deck.
It takes a special trajectory to clear the very high net, but it's done. I've done this 4 years here. One did bounce on the asphalt in front of us. Easy play for me. I got an assist asphalt. Another one landed 3 feet to my left, and I didn't bother trying for it. But that's 2 out of, I don't know, 21 times 4 home games.
That's not many. This one turned around by Angstadt. That one could fall in the Bermuda Triangle, and it will.
Yep.
Orr's going to have to race the second. He'll get there in time.
Wow.
And the bloop single by Angstadt keeps that average at 1,000. Line
You
keeps
be
moving.
you be his announcer. That's liable to keep going that way.
Yeah, there's common trends. Charlottesville, me, and hits for David Angstadt.
That's exactly that Bermuda Triangle out there, because it was fairly elevated, but just in the right place.
And just shallow enough that the left fielder, Eister, couldn't get there. Here comes Max Bazin. Bazin 0 for 1. He was one of 2 straight strikeout victims for Catone in the second inning. That's been Bazin's guilty verdict all season. So 2 on, no outs here in the top to 4. Charlottesville trying to tie the ball game. Bazin squares down a bunt to first.
Nicely placed.
De Guzman over the cover, and the sac bunt works perfectly.
Kosiski took a look at third before he decided to throw him out, and it almost cost him.
Yeah,
Took
right
a little too much time.
Bazin, he's a center fielder, shortstop, second baseman, pitcher. So he can do it all as well. And he has some speed on him. So you got to work it quickly. And here comes another guy that can get down the line with the best of them. Jack Morse leads the team with 8 stolen bases on the season.
Wozers. There you go.
Second and third, 1 away. And Catone trying to work out of trouble. First offering. Fastball in the dirt. And it's 1-0. And even though Catone did get the out with Bazin, he really still has not found the zone.
Correct. Yeah, a well-placed sacrifice, too. It was, as I say, toward the first base side, just enough off the line. First thing, you bunt right back to the pitcher. That doesn't do much good. But I got to give Bazin credit for a well-placed bunt there. Did the job. Guys at second, third.
1-0, right down the middle. A nice changeup for strike one. 1-1. Just getting underway. Game 2 here at Rebel Park of the Valley Baseball League Championship Series. Rebels up 1-0 after a lopsided 16-4 affair a night ago. That one foul down the third base line. It'll be 1-2. We believe.
The score's 2-1. Yeah.
2-1 score.
Yeah.
Does your guy have like a tire control?
It's still a one-one lead.
Yes. So that one's inside for a ball. 2-2 to the batter, Morris.
We did allude to the fact that over the years you'll observe inconsistency is one of the great themes in the Valley League. A team can one day have a spectacular win and then play a team with the worst record and lose.
And that's what Charlottesville did in the championship series last year. This one off the glove of the catcher, and easily Orr is going to scamper home. So there's what I would say is a pass ball. I don't know if you agree with that or not, Dennis, but that one was one that probably should have been gloved by Moore.
I agree. We'll see what the official scoring is, but whichever way, it's a tie game.
Tie game. Angstadt up to third now with only 1 out, and Morris at the plate. Morris played at Liberty University down in Lynchburg for 2 seasons before ending up at North Greenville this year for his junior season.
Our official score does tend to bias it toward wild pitch, so that's what's in the record book.
We're going wild pitch there instead of pass
Well,
ball.
we got outvoted by a man of 1, but more power than we have.
That one's fouled back. It should be still a 2-2 count.
Yes, the scoreboard went wacky.
It cleared it off, thinking that Morse had put it in play or something, but instead it's a 2-2 count by our stat keeping. Catone staring in. He's trying to keep the winning run 90 feet away at third base. That one's outside, ball 4 for Morris.
Rough inning right now for Catone.
That's the third walk on the night for Nick Catone. Now they're on the corners with 1 out. So if there is a positive, now the double play is in order, and you've got a guy at Nick Bellafronte at the plate who won't be the swiftest down the line, but he has a lot of power in that bat out of the 9-hole.
Of course, it's very, very dynamic baseball, the strategy game, who's doing well, what position, what strategy you want to use, what skill guys are available. But
Fastball up and inside, ball 1 to Bellafronte.
which is a long prelude to say, with the offensive capabilities of the Rebels, head coach Zach Cole can afford to let a pitcher go a little longer than some other coaches might.
Second
in
offering
trouble.
upstairs as well, 2-0. And on top of that, you also have a 1-game-to-none lead, which you don't want to rely on that. because Game 3 at Seville Weekly Ballpark wouldn't be the best sign in the world.
In addition, there's a little pressure to wrap it up at home. So I don't know how that omelet looks when you finish cooking it, but it's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, a lot of decisions for Zach Cole over there in that third base dugout. Quick little meeting of the minds between Moore as well as the first baseman Kosiski and the pitcher Catone. Everyone back to their spot. So Moore's at first. The pitch, and that one is
really poked.
cranked to left. Back on it is Eister. He's still going back, and that ball is gone. 3-run home run, Nick Bellafronto. Bellafronto crushing his second home run of the season, his first of the postseason, and just like that, Charlottesville up 5-2.
That went out just to the right of the light stanchion that you can see that's to the left of the scoreboard. The distance there at the fence is going to be 375. For we have our own slap cast, we don't have stat cast, but I'm going to give him 390 on that.
He cleared it with ease, and that's all that really matters. Is there was a no-doubter from Nick Bellafronto.
I'm putting the launch angle at 32, exit velocity 105, just for fun.
Sounds good.
A big zap, a huge zap from the number 9 batter.
And that's why Corey Hunt put him in the bottom. Here comes Ching, first pitch swinging on the ground to Lopez. Throw across the diamond in time for out number 2. Big blow in the ball game. Nick Bellafronto, as you said, out of the 9-hole. Well, that's Coach Hunt's new philosophy that he's been using for the postseason. Put a good guy down there in the 9-hole, turn your lineup over, as you see in the major leagues all the time
Which
now.
they did with Jose Iglesias for the Detroit Tigers for years. Guy would bat 330 even, and then a 9-hole, and it messes up the approach that some coaches would like to take to their strategy.
And we're going to have a call to the bullpen as Zach Cole has seen enough from Catone. He will not make it out of inning number 4. He goes 3 2/3. And we're going to wait and see who the arm is coming out of the pen. Got some binoculars up here on the web deck.
There's probably a left field camera that's probably got it already.
Many of you at home watching will find out before us.
It's a lefty.
I'm thinking that might be...
Matthew Mercer is one of 2 lefties left, I think, for the Rebels.
Well, we've got Mercer, and I think we've got
Andy Reid.
Andrazik as well. Wait and see who it is. But that's a tough break for Catone.
Andrazic's a righty, so yeah, I'm going with Matthew Mercer until I hear otherwise. Because Andy Reid has shoulder length hair.
Well,
Plus
this guy does not, I mean, it's possible, but this guy does not have long hair. He has hair, but not long hair. He's a
We'll
lefty.
wait for the official announcement, then we'll give you some stats.
Nice overhand delivery. Charlottesville will bring batter number 7 in the inning to the plate. And, you know, I was telling this to the guys down in Covington when they had me on for a few innings of play-by-play. When you switch me from color to play-by-play, the game changes typically in one way or the other. Whether it be good or bad for Charlottesville, it always changes. And you put me on play-by-play, and the game changed. So sorry about that.
Oh, I'm not, you don't need to apologize, and we'll see how it happens later in the game. It is Matthew Mercer, a lefty on the relief of Catone. He's 6 feet tall, 180-pounder, sophomore at East Tennessee State University. And we'll give you some stats for him. He's liable not to have been in the postseason, but we'll give you regular season first while Zach looks up perhaps postseason. Mercer in the regular season appeared in 16 games. One of those was a start. 28 2/3 innings, 36 hits, 13 runs, of which 10 were earned, 6 walks, 28 strikeouts. Pretty good ratio there. He had a 3.1 record and a 3.14 ERA.
And as you predicted, no postseason appearances on the summer for Matthew Mercer.
So I do know that Nick Catone's parents are here from Toms River, New Jersey. I talked to them yesterday, and they especially, of course, wanted to see their son do well. But man in the trouble here in the 4th inning.
And with no one on base, the line score is officially closed on Catone. He goes 3 2/3. He did give up quite a few hits in the end of it. 5 total, and the 5 runs.
Of which 4 are earned. I have the advantage of having official scoring here, and it's not. So 4 of those runs are earned. I think there was a pitch that we might want to mention there.
Strike in there to McCall. from Mercer.
Three walks.
As this one is laced to right and just
Oh,
foul.
my, wow.
That one, you had to get the magnifying glass out to see. Just missed the chalk, and it's a quick 0-2 count to Pat McCall, and I believe 4 strikeouts. And that is confirmed. So 3 2/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which are earned, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts.
He's on the
for
hook
the
for
Star
the loss
Catone.
at present, but there's a lot of baseball yet to play here at Rebel Park.
Big 0-2 coming to McCall. Huge breaking ball. He takes all the way, 1-2. Big lefty overhand delivery comes right after you. The curveball just falls right off the shelf, which is always tough for a left-handed hitter.
Exactly. Hometown Chattanooga, Tennessee for Matthew Mercer.
Now the 1-2 from the reliever, Matthew Mercer. Pitch, fastball, low, 2-2. A little bit of an unlucky break for Catone as well, because after getting that out, he likely would have finished the inning if it not had been a lefty McCall at the plate.
Right.
Now the 2-2. Breaking ball low, and we've got a full count. McCall swung at the first 2.
If I get a chance to say hello to some of the folks commenting on Facebook Live. A. Scott Richardson, welcome to the webcast. Chad Bryant, go Sox. Scott Richardson.
Payoff pitch,
All right.
strike 3 swinging. There goes McCall. We're headed into a break with Charlottesville on top 5-2 on the Valley Baseball League Network.
Hi, this is Jim Stutzman. In keeping with the philosophy of our pre-owned prospects deserving the same opportunities as our new vehicle customers, I'd like to share some shopping tips you ought to know before you make a decision to purchase any pre-owned vehicle. Stay tuned.
Take me out to the ball game. Oh, wait, we're already here.
Barry Lee and Katie G, hoping you're enjoying the old ball game and inviting you to join us each weekday morning from 5 to 10 a.m. on your 92.5 Wink FM.
The best pre-owned vehicles traditionally are one owner, regularly maintained, and meticulously reconditioned vehicles. At Jim Stutzman Pre-Owned, many of our vehicles are traded from our own customers, previously maintained and then reconditioned in our award-winning service facility before ever being offered for sale.
Back here at Rebels Park, Zach Hamilton, along with Dennis Atwood with you on the Valley Baseball League Network. Game 2 of the VBL Championships. Newmarket on top of the series 1-0, but they trail on the scoreboard tonight 5-2. Up for Newmarket here in the home half of inning number 4 is going to be the first baseman Andrew Kosiski, followed by Austin Bogarts and Adon Fernandez.
I can't help but mention that the big blow was Nick Bellafronto's 3-run smash over the left field fence.
First pitch from Jake Hirschman in there for a ball, 1-0. Hirschman came in with 2 outs in the second inning because of Hunter Gregory, that is, going down with a back injury.
Got to play at the plate.
Ball 2 is the changeup, misses low. That was a tough break for Gregory. As we've said before, he had to bend around actually this guy at the plate, Kosiski, and the way that he went down just wasn't pretty for himself, and he had to come out of the ball game. Hirschman, though, sprung into action and has pitched fairly well since he's been in, but now is behind 3-0 here to the first baseman, Andrew Kosiski.
Again, if you want a little more detail, the Gregory's injury, if you weren't watching, it was lower right side of his back.
A strike right down the middle. 3-1 now to Kosiski. And, of course, Tom Sox trying to avoid putting the leadoff man on. That's been the Cardinal sin so far in the ball game, or actually really in the series for Charlottesville, and there it is, ball 4.
See, you praised him. You see what happened?
That's typically how it works. As Kosiski heads to first base, and here comes Austin Bogart. So Bogart, playing center field. Not Xavier Bogart of the Red Sox, but instead Austin Bogart. Two-way player for the Rebels. Can pitch, can play the outfield. Struck out his first time at the plate in the second inning. That was a strikeout for Gregory. One of his 2 before exiting. Strike 1 in there to Bogart at the plate. Meanwhile, an average lead over at first for Kosiski. Another guy not with a ton of speed. He's just going to kind of hang out over there till you hit him around.
He's a little faster than he looks. He is a catcher, but...
Change up on the ground, over to second base. Quick throw by Bazin for the out. It's a good piece of running there by Kosiski to get out in front of that one and avoid the possible double play, although I would argue that was probably hit a little too slow to get to.
You're right about that.
So runner on second, 1 away as Newmarket looks to trim into the 3-run deficit here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Apparently there was a little bit of video feed problems, the vagaries of the internet for these signals happen almost every game, and it's usually a worldwide network type issue for folks, sometimes at the origin, but we're still on stretch internet audio. What I've advocated for people is have the stretch internet audio in the background if there's technical problems with the video.
Got a 0-1 count here to Fernandez at the plate. Hirschman right after him, fouled back off of Orr, the catcher, and it's 0-2.
Of course, if you were watching on Facebook, you can't hear my suggestion that you go over to Stretch Internet Audio. So those with Stretch Internet Audio, thanks for being with us. We hope Facebook returns soon.
There you go, 2 pitch here to the right fielder Fernandez. He's 1 for 2. He singled but was stranded at third back in the second by Hirschman. Now he's going to call time at the plate and step out after Hirschman and Orr couldn't find the same page. 1 shake, likes option 2, and we're set on the pitch. 0-2, laced foul. Thought about grabbing it over there at third as your third base coach of the Rebels.
You mentioned Bogarts with an S on it, of course, for the Red Sox. This batter, Adon Fernandez, Florida International University, did get to meet J.D. Martinez, leading the majors in home runs when he was, I guess, with Miami Marlins, perhaps, but in the Miami area. He took hitting instruction from J.D., and he's not quite there yet. But
he's not a bad guy to get hitting instruction from. And J.D. Martinez. This one sent the opposite way, down the line and right. McMullen over, and he's going to glove it for the second out. Moving up on the play will be Kosiski. He's at third base now after the fly out to right field by Adon Fernandez.
And I just finished telling that backstory when at Winchester when I was guest announcing, and then he hit one over the left field fence. But that was like 4th week of the season, long time ago.
Yeah, he got a good drive into that one, just pushed it too far down the right field line to get out. And here comes the left-handed hitting second baseman, Christian de Guzman. He's 1 for 1. He singled, was stranded at second base behind Fernandez. Back in the second, he swings through a beautiful breaker there by Jake Hirschman. Hirschman stares down the runner at third, now throws a breaking ball in, or can't find it, and it actually was right next to the plate for his safety.
There you go.
Lucky break for the Tom Sox, and it's an 0-2 count to de Guzman. And the one thing that I've noticed, obviously not seeing de Guzman as much as you, he seems to be a little bit of a free swinger.
He is.
So now big 0-2 here for the man out Wofford. Changeup, strike 3 called, looking. And after the leadoff walk, Hirschman strands him at third. Tom Sox up 5-2 here in Newmarket. And your final line from that inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on for the Rebels.
It's not as much a sign of efficiency as the Tom Sox pitchers have been effective, but the Rebels have only left 3 on, which is a lowish number for them when their bats are working.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for the Tom Sox. We stranded a host of runners a night ago.
Yeah.
We would have needed more than we left on base. But they've stranded 3 here through 4 innings as well.
Very modest, but also reflects the effectiveness of Tom Sock's defense.
Looks like Mercer's back out. He threw a third of an inning and got a strikeout against Patrick McCall after Bellafronto bombed a 3-run shot to left center, and I agree, about 390 probably to the light pole.
The bass baritone voice, the rich baritone you hear in the background, ballpark announcer, is president and general manager of the Rebels, Bruce Alger, and he lives very close to the ballpark, grew up in Newmarket. This is his 53rd year involvement with the Rebels. He started as a bat boy, and he's also commissioner of the league now. So that's a pretty good career, bat boy to commissioner.
Yeah, that's how you draw it up when you're a little kid at home and they ask you what you want to do with your life. But for Alger, it's actually his birthday yesterday.
It was. The Rebels
CFL Weekly sang it to him.
Yeah, got that big win, birthday.
That was a pretty good birthday present, if I say so myself.
Tops.
Be Kirby McMullen, the right fielder, up here to start the 5th inning. Out of the University of Florida, he is 0 for 1. He walked back in the 1st and grounded out to short in the 3rd. He'll take a strike. And he's behind 0 and 1. The 0-1. Swung on a miss, fastball high, and Mercer, he has late life to that fastball. He's not just throwing it in there mid-80s.
He does.
Hear a dog barking in the residential zone behind us. As it is a big pitch, and we're actually going to take it time as Mercer cleans the rubber. Swing and a miss. Took 3 pitches to retire McMullen, and there's 1 away here in the 5th inning. That's going to bring up Brett Centracchio. Centracchio, 0 for 2, ground out to the catcher, and then a strikeout in his 2nd at bat. First pitch outside, 1-0.
Maybe some more fun with numbers if you want some team stats. Regular season, Rebels team batting average 282, Tom Sock's 251. But it's a different story on the pitching.
Ball low, 2-0 as that one gets behind the catcher Moore. Yeah, Charlottesville, the #1 pitching staff in the VBL during the regular season.
First in earned run average, 318. First in strikeouts, 405. First in batting average against, 220. First in whip, 124. Yeah, that's ones across the board there, Zach.
Yeah, the 405 strikeouts is actually a VBL record, as that slider got away from the catcher Moore, 3-0. One of the few records Charlottesville now holds in their short time in the league.
So stellar pitching on the Tom Sox in the regular season, but the Rebels were 8th in the league with a 5.09 ERA, 10th batting average.
There's a 4-pitch walk to Brett Centracchio. There's a 1-out base runner for Charlottesville here.
Yeah, 10th in batting average against and 10th in whip. But again, as we pointed out at the top of the webcast, Rebels pitching in the postseason has been really good so far.
Just 2.40 ERA in the postseason, was 2.0 before Charlottesville hung minimal 4 runs on them as far as last night went.
And right now it's tracking up a little bit too.
5 runs, definitely going to pull that one up a bit as the fastball catching the top of the zone.
Yeah, indeed.
0-1.
How tall is this batter? Yes. Generous call there.
Nick Orr. Not a tall fella, just an
6'1",
average.
6'1", yeah. Ooh.
Out slider missing low and inside. That one, at least from my vantage point up here on the web deck, that looked
Might have
just
been
as
a
much
makeup
a strike.
Might have been a makeup call if they engage in such a thing here. Excuse
Always
me.
the ifs.
Take a little swig here of water.
The 1-1, swing and a miss by Orr. A changeup split right off the bat head there, and now Nick's behind 0-2, facing Matthew Mercer. Starter Catone went 3 2/3 for Newmarket tonight, 5 hits. The 5 runs, 4 of which are earned, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. Since then, Mercer through 2/3 of an inning so far. Walk and 2 strikeouts. Of course, that spans over this inning and the last inning. That one's low, and it's an even 2-2. And wow, the crowd's just growing larger. Another whole host of people filing into Rebel Park here in Newmarket.
Gonna wish, swing and a miss. Wow,
And
nice
there goes
pitch.
Orr. Nice pitch there from Mercer, and he's got 2 strikeouts around the walk to Centracchio. So now 3 on the night for Mercer, and David Angstadt comes to the plate, and I said it last time and he got on, so I'll say it again. Still batting 1,000 on the season.
1 for 1 tonight. A walk and a hit.
2 for 2 on the season to go along with that walk.
It's building. It's building.
Had a hit last night's ball game as well as a pinch hitter. Takes a strike, 0-1. Over on first base, Brett Centracchio, he is not a threat to go. He does have a stolen base, but more likely
a
not
symbolic
going.
one, you're saying?
It was one where there was a runner on third and the catcher was not intending on throwing it. But still counts. Still a stolen base.
It sure is.
And a good heads-up play by Centracchio to go to second.
Well, Chase Sudduth, in one of my interviews with him, he said, well, I'm not really fast, but I know when to go. So,
That's all you need is to know when to go. So that one misses high. And now the pitcher Mercer is locked in a 1-1 count with David Angstadt out of William and Mary, utility guy for the Tribe. They actually just released a new logo. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
It's an enhanced Griffin, which of course about a decade ago or so they switched to the Griffin.
Not.
That one a strike, throw down the second. There goes Centracchio, and he's safe as he swimmingly found the way around the tag by de Guzman.
Well, in fact, de Guzman was on the shortstop side of the bag. He kind of stumbled going to get the catch, and I thought he made a pretty heroic effort, Zach, to reach back on his back to try to make the tag, which is almost impossible. But even though he was out of position, he still was motivated to try to get the out.
And Centracchio heard what I said and was motivated to steal anyway.
There you go.
He's
How
out
about
at second
that?
now. 2 outs, 1-2 count to the batter David Angstadt.
Almost makes you believe in telepathy sometimes.
It's been that way as of late for the Tom Sox. The 1-2 outside did not offer, and the perfect batting average stays alive, 2-2. I love the little things in baseball.
Oh, it makes it a great sport. Of course, I got to say, it's the best for all the way around. Strategy, history, dynamics. The same dimensions are still make for close plays as they did 130 years ago.
I agree completely as Angstadt fouls this one off into the neighborhood. I'll have to get some fresh baseballs there from the ball boy for Newmarket.
Hi, Ryan McDonald. You probably made your comment on Facebook a while ago where we need to, it's tough for us to get time to do that. We just want to acknowledge folks. 114 are watching now. Thank you, everyone. Interest in Valley Baseball League Championship Series.
2-2, fouled off at the plate, and they'll do it again. So 2-2 count to David Angstadt. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning.
He's showing a lot of the skills to keep that 1,000 batting average.
Yeah, he
fouling
really
off the
is.
stuff he doesn't like.
He's touching it, which is the first step to hitting it, as he did back in the 4th inning. An inning ago, he singled and scored a run. He walked back in the 2nd.
Ryan McDonald, the feed is on the Rebels Facebook page. I'll tell you where.
Here goes Angstadt out to short to Kobe Lopez. Don't do it, Kobe, and he's out. There goes the perfect batting average and the inning for the Tom Sox. It's still 5-2 Charlottesville as we head to the bottom of the 5th here on the Valley Baseball League Network.
So on the Rebels Facebook page, if you're on the home Facebook page, it is down the page quite a ways. You scroll down, you'll see the live indication. Don't know why it landed there, but we didn't find it under videos earlier. So thank you, Ryan McDonald, for your inquiry. Another pathway is you go to the Valley Baseball League, down the lower left of their website, there's their Facebook link. But it always says open in the app. So I don't know exactly if the Valley Baseball League has an app or not. So
upon completion will then show up in the New Market video section.
Yeah.
But it has to be finished, and we're obviously sitting here live with 114 of our good friends enjoying some Valley Baseball League action. So it looks like that is Jake Hirschman.
He's been enjoying himself in his relief effort.
Came in with 2 outs in the second inning and hasn't really looked back. First raffle ticket winner being announced here in the bottom of the 5th. I don't see anyone jumping with jubilation yet, so
Our home plate camera operator went to take care of a technical issue. I think he might have had a battery problem. He wanted to make sure you could see Jared Thompson in the gold lame sport coat selling raffle tickets. He's on our board of directors and wore a red shiny coat at our cash party.
oh wow. And at the plate now is Hank Moore, the catcher. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. I'm not sure if you're familiar with college basketball, and George Mason is. Moore sends this one on the ground to third. Bellafronto up with it. Throw across the diamond is high, and McCall came off the bag. I have a feeling that one's going to go down as an E5.
Looks like that to me.
On Bellafronto there, that's going to allow Moore to reach, and the
You
leadoff
can
man's
mark
back
it,
on.
E5 it is.
Yep, there it goes up onto the board. But as I was saying, Doc Nix in the Green Machine, one of the most famous pep bands in the country. Doc Nix, I love working with him at Mason. He's a great guy on and off the court, but he wears some amazing suits. And the craziest part is, if you're a Mason person, he buys them at Peebles.
I didn't know that's where you could get them.
That's where he buys them.
There you go.
Peebles and Macy's. There's 2 hot spots for all of his crazy suits, as that's a curveball in there for a strike to Kobe Lopez.
We'll hit Peebles up to be a Valley League sponsor next year, as they're getting free placement ads. No problem. Yeah, having a good, competent, jazz or other band for your team really helps. Of course, DC area, just to digress a bit more, is loaded with all kind of musical talent.
It's a great hub for music, as well as sports as of late. 1-1 count to Lopez at the plate against Jake Hirschman. Tried to barehand it, thought better of it, gloved by Bazin. He's going to throw the short way, and did he get him? He did.
Wow, what an interesting adjustment, and he's up in the air, over in the shortstop position. Shortstop is covering, and that's one of the better plays you're going to see.
I actually thought he was just going to put that one in his back pocket, but instead, he ends up getting Moore over there at second base, and that's a heads-up play by Bazin, as you said, midair. Deciding to throw it over there to Ching for the out. And here comes the league MVP, Andrew Eister.
Who's overdue because he's 0 for 2. And we call him the hitting meister. It rhymes and it's true. Wow.
Swing and a miss. That one goes off the leg protector of Orr, and that's going to allow the Speedy Lopez to take second on the pass ball.
I'm going to make sure that's how it's scored, because our guy likes to favor the wild pitch calls.
That was one that definitely seemed blockable, at least.
You got it this time.
There's the pass ball. So Lopez to second with still 1 out after the fielder's choice play by Bazin. That was highlight worthy for sure.
Highlight worthy, exact words I was going to use. But there's the quirkiness of baseball. You get a terrific play and then get a pass ball, puts the guy on second anyway.
That curveball never has shot, and it's 1-1. And the worst part about it is you took the catcher off base and replaced him with the fastest guy.
Another good equation. Their assistant coaches, lots of places, are responsible for tracking that exact kind of stuff.
Now the 1-1 from Hirschman. He's out staring at Lopez. Now will turn and fire home. A foul ball at the plate by Eister. We'll put him in the hole 1-2. And as you mentioned, he's 0 for 2. Fly out and a strikeout, and that doesn't happen very often.
Just make sure people know, deeper into league statistics, Andrew Eister led the league in extra base hits this year. Again, didn't play the full contingent of games.
That's what makes his stat line even more impressive. He only
Exactly.
played 32 regular season games. That one outside is the changeup slipped out of the hand of Hirschman.
23 extra base hits in 32 games. And the league had him at 15 game hitting streak, tied with Jacobs, but I counted 16, so we have appealed that be adjusted to 16. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference, except he'd have the streak by himself. Not that he needs an 8th big time honor, but we like it.
Hey, more records the better. This one, the ground.
There you go.
And into left field. There's a base hit, and Lopez will pull up at third. Another great throw out and left by Angstad. And runners are on the corner now, just one away in the bottom of the fifth inning.
Big
Nice
Rebel
hit.
crowd enthusiasm grows appropriately.
That's the first hit that Hirschman has given up since coming into the ball game.
And wow, that warrants a mound visit. That's interesting. Maybe they see something the way he's working. We talk about Suddeth last night. He ended up being 4 for 6. And we then took a look about after the third hit. He had a single, a double, then a triple. Everybody says, wow, he got the hardest part of the cycle. Then his fourth hit was a single. But of course, everybody was pulling for the cycle, which is pretty darn rare.
Well, that's
a natural cycle was even more.
Yeah, that's even hard to do, is hit them in order. But Zach Ching, shortstop for the Tom Sox, he was a triple away from the cycle in Game 2 against Waynesboro, and then he was a triple away from the cycle at Covington. He did it twice in 3 games and couldn't get that
remarkable.
triple. And then Eister comes out and seemingly very easily gets the triple. And then we're like, well,
right.
can you share that?
Yeah, it is the rarest hit in baseball. So I guess a strategy session.
Yeah, Corey Hunt,
Hagstrom.
probably just going over. You got runners to the corner, 1 away. If it's hit up the middle, you're going to turn 2, or try to turn 2 at least. But if it's hit to the corners, you're probably going to at least make sure Lopez holds and probably just throw the first would be my assumption.
If it gets bad enough, I'll grab a chair.
See, with a 3-1 deficit for the Rebels, I'm trying to figure how aggressive is Coach Cole likely to be. 5th inning, I think the aggression meter on the bases just went up a little bit.
Might as well here. You're down by 3 as we are watching Hirschman pitch into the batter Suddeth, who puts down a bunt, but it goes foul.
Which was going to be a safety squeeze.
And I'm sure,
Which I happened to read correctly. Coach Cole wanted to get aggressive.
yeah, and I'm sure Coach Hunt had probably mentioned something about that happening. The Rebels actually tried that a night ago, but oddly enough, the same thing happened and the bunt went foul. And they didn't put it back on the next play. We'll see if they
In a
put it on
recent
here.
game, and Zach, and I can't tell you exactly which one, we had 2 successful suicide squeezes. I've never seen
Wow.
such a thing.
Game 2, but a nice RBI for Suddeth. His second RBI of the night, actually.
He is an RBI machine, like I mentioned. The regular season in the league lead, 35.
And obviously,
No, your guy had 48, so.
that was D'Alessandro before he went down with an injury.
Right. It's walks that Suddeth tied for the lead, 35, so I want to quickly amend that. But he still has a lot of RBIs.
Eister down at second now with 2 away and a new. Splits a fastball off the bat that goes back for a foul ball, 0-1.
Just to complete the footnote, I want to correct myself. 33 RBIs tied Suddeth for 5th in the league, so now we got it squared away. And again,
33
well,
and 35.
well executed safety squeeze play there. Zach Cole is really liking that play lately.
A new pops it up. That one is going to head back over, actually not over, the shed behind us. Looked like it was going to get out, but didn't quite. 0-2 count to a new. He is 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout most recently in the 3rd inning. That's something that he has gotten familiar with over the course of the season.
He can punish the ball, but he does sometimes like to go fishing at the plate, so to speak.
See if Hirschman drops a big 0-2 curveball here. Right-hander looks to second, now fires it in. There's the curveball. Good job by Anu not to offer. That one missed low and inside, 1-2. Nice block by Orr behind the plate, too, after we saw the last curveball get through his legs.
That was.
Now the 1-2. Fastball, outside corner, strike 3 looking. Throws Anu, and in doing so, leaves a runner in scoring position. Charlottesville still leads 5-3, but the Rebels put 1 run on the board on 1 hit. No errors, and see, 1 error and 1 left on.
So the score tightened a little bit.
Looks like Mercer is possibly going to be relieved here, and he is. So a new pitcher coming on for Newmarket.
Interesting.
Got a right-hander. Have to wait and see. That looks like an easy 7 to me.
It is.
We were going to have number 7. Peyton Millirons, I believe is how it's pronounced. And I'm told that's right.
It's interesting how effective, though, Mercer was, that he would be relieved. I don't want to second guess head coach Cole and his strategy for the game. Don't know what Mercer's load was. Don't think he'd had postseason work, but I do have too many stat sheets here to nimbly.
Well, the one thing for a guy like Mercer, he won an inning and a third. He did so fairly efficiently, and it's very possible that he stayed underneath that 30 pitch mark that would allow him to pitch tomorrow.
Yep, that's got to factor in it.
Of course, the VBL has some pitching stats and rules in effect to try to help keep guys healthy. Of course, they play a whole spring season and the whole summer and right into fall ball, so you want to keep guys as healthy as possible. And the 30 pitch line is one of those tools. It'll be Max Bazin, second baseman, as we have 7, 8, and 9 up here in the top of inning number 6.
That was Mercer's first postseason work. 1 and a third, nothing until you get to a walk and 3 strikeouts. Nothing recorded in the run area.
All 5 runs did go to the starter, Catone, as the first pitch by Millirons is in there for a strike, a fastball on the outside corner.
Millirons has worked 3 innings in the playoffs. 1 unearned run, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks. He got a 1-0 record.
Bazin pops it up. Looks like it's going to get out of play, and it does. We have a nice barehand catch by a fan over there down the extra room by the batting cages. And it's a quick 0-2 count now to Bazin. Long pause by Millirons, and now the 0-2. High leg kick, fastball swung right through it. Strike 3, and Bazin is down on strikes for the second time tonight. Quick 1 out by Peyton Millirons. That's a pretty good way to get your night started.
Indeed. Regular season, Millirons had 11 games, 3 starts, 25 innings, 28 hits, 17 runs, 15 earned, 26 strikeouts, 12 walks, 3-4. If I could read, I'd be better off. There's a
first pitch is for a ball.
Millirons regular season ERA 5.40, batting average against 277, whip 1.6. Nice
swing and a miss there.
Well-placed slider there.
Jack Morris swung right through it. He was reading fastball all the way. Nice break on the end of that one. 1-1. 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Zach Hamilton, Dennis Atwood with you on the Valley Baseball League Network. 1-1 by Morris to sky back towards the residential neighborhood. And it's 1-2. So a big spot for Morris here, trying to get a runner on. Charlottesville has had a runner on in every inning to this point. 1 down, no one on here. Swing and a miss. There goes Morris. Back-to-back strikeouts by Millirons, and that decision by Zach Cole starting to look pretty good.
It looks great.
That is the combined 9th strikeout of the Tom Sox here in the ball game. Through 5 2/3, you'll take that most nights.
We're liking it.
And here comes Nick Bellafronto. Luckily for Newmarket fans, no one on this time. He sizes up Millirons. The pitch. Curveball low, 1-0.
A sly allusion to Bellafronto's 3-run blast over the left field fence in the 4th inning.
Now the 1-0 from Millirons. Working out the stretch here in relief. Pitch swung on and missed by Bellafronto, and they're even at 1-1.
I keep having to keep my hand away from the mouse to go check scores elsewhere in the league. Obviously, this is the only action.
Yeah.
So often we had to do that.
Here's your look around the Valley Baseball League.
Right
Check
here.
out the scoreboard in left center. 5-3 ball game. Charlottesville on top of Newmarket. That's it. There's the strike 1 and 2 as that one caught the lower third of the zone.
The regular season is usually, it's 42 games, but usually 56 days, but it was 58 this year. We had to extend it because of all the rainouts. Huge number early.
Big 1-2 here to Nick Bellafronto. The Irons pitch, swing and a miss. He did. He strikes out the side in order here in the 6th inning. And Zach Cole looks like the genius at Rebel Park. We are through 5 1/2. Your score, Charlottesville 5, Newmarket 3 on the Valley Baseball League Network.
I didn't have any onions. Do you want anything else?
Hi, this is Jim Stutzman. In keeping with the philosophy of our pre-owned prospects deserving the same opportunities as our new vehicle customers, I'd like to share some shopping tips you ought to know before you make a decision to purchase any pre-owned vehicle. Stay tuned.
Take me out to the ball game. Oh, wait, we're already here.
Barry Lee and Katie G hoping you're enjoying the old ball game and inviting you to join us each weekday morning from 5 to 10 a.m. on your 92.5 Wink FM.
The best way to learn the history of any pre-owned vehicle is to search the Carfax. It provides all the ownership and repair history by tracking the vehicle identification number. Every pre-owned vehicle sold by Jim Stutzman Pre-Owned comes with a Carfax history, so always ask for the Carfax.
Back here at Rebel Park, Zach Hamilton along with Dennis Atwood here in Newmarket, Virginia. Game 2 of the Valley Baseball League Championship Series going away at Charlottesville here, the number 2 seed out of the South Division, facing against the number 3 seeded Newmarket Rebels out of the North Division of the Valley Baseball League. First pitch from Jake Hirschman outside for a ball. Hirschman now into inning number 4 of work. Technically, inning number 5, if you go back and count the third he threw back in the second. Second offering fouled off, 1-1. Big spot though, Charlottesville trying to force a game 3 back at Seaville Weekly Ballpark tomorrow night. First pitch would be slated for 7 p.m. if we get there. Newmarket so with plenty of time to come back down just 2. Here's a good way to get it started, a hot dropping single in the center field.
Gravity worked big on that one.
That would be Kosiski out there to get it started with a leadoff single.
There he goes being 2 for 2.
2 for 2, a walk as well, and here comes Austin Bogart. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out so far.
Last night Kosiski was 2 for 5, but no runs, no RBIs, but he was out there.
Came up with a few good defensive stops at the plate in that one.
Now batting .429 in the playoffs. Huge swings happen with his small numbers here. Yeah.
That one outside. 1-0. And I believe, the best example of that would be Angstadt, who went from batting 1,000 down to 667. Pops it straight up. This might just come.
I think that's going to be playable. Playable.
It is. And McCall misses it, and it goes foul.
It's just foul.
I'm
glad the umpire was studying the line.
Literally a millimeter foul.
I don't know. The chalk is no longer present at
that might
that
have
part of the
helped
fair
Charlottesville.
line. But it's interesting about some of those that go straight up is tough, but also a really high pop will often curve back toward the field, and you see players overrun them because they don't allow for that curve back to the field.
Well, and it was kind of interesting because the catcher never saw it. He just ran out of the way, said, I don't have this. And it was all up to McCall, and he was in a dead sprint coming in from first base, and a nice hustle play by McCall just came up empty. So instead, it's a 1-1 count Kosiski at first base after the leadoff single, no outs, and
Does
Kosiski
nothing to wipe out McCall's 100-yard dash into the bullpen last night in foul territory and make a spectacular catch.
He would have been moving if he got that. Kosiski reinflates the flat tire, and we are set to go in the 1-1 count. This one on the ground, hot shot left field, back-to-back singles. Kosiski makes a wide turn, will go back to second, and Newmarket looking for the answer here in the 6th. Newmarket faithful coming to life here early. Now, Hirschman went through 2 2/3 without giving up a hit, but now has given up a hit to 3 of the last 5 he's faced.
How quickly things can change in baseball.
There's an arm starting to loosen in the Charlottesville pen. Big pitch here from Hirschman facing Fernandez, right fielder in today's ball game. Look out the second. And that one comes in and hits it. So the bases are going to be loaded after back-to-back singles and a hit by pitch. The Rebels starting to threaten, and Coach Corey Hunt might not take long to pull the trigger here. Looks for the moment like he's going to stick with the right-hander. Antonio Menendez, the sidewinder, is whipping it out there in the bullpen. He has been probably the best reliever this season for Charlottesville. You have Weatherby and Menendez. An ideal situation in the game, you'd start Weatherby, he'd go 5, you put in Hunter Gregory for 3 and let Menendez wrap it up. See if Hirschman can work out the bases loaded jams with no one out. Corners are in case of another suicide squeeze. We've got a good speed at the plate in Christian de Guzman. First offering, he swung through the changeup and he's 0-1. De Guzman in the ball game singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, and now has probably the biggest at-bat of the ball game for the Rebels at the plate right now.
Absolutely.
Long pause as Hirschman looking into the dugout to get the sign. He's still looking. Now he's like, all right, I'll get back on the mound, I guess. And we're set once again, the 0-1. Actually, first we're going to have a few shakes. Now we get the sign we like. And now the 0-1 is a fastball just off the plate, 1-1. So all of that, and he ended up with a ball.
A lot went into that ball. But McCall and Bellafronto were on the grass, but kind of tentative about it. So they're not charging.
The 1-1, that's probably thanks to de Guzman swinging away the first time. This one is single up the middle. That's going to tie the ball game possibly. 1 run in. The second one, the throw to the plate, and it's in time. Nice throw in the center field. Jack Morris does it again, and Zach Cole might just find himself out of this ball game.
He's thinking he slid under the tag. You saw it on Facebook. That would be the 3rd throw out at home in 2 games for the Rebels. There were 2 last night, and that's the fastest I've seen him run out to talk to an umpire.
And I understand his frustration, but I actually agree with the call. I think Morris's throw got there. And a great job by Orr of laying down and getting the runner on the hand, it looked like. Didn't waste any time. And that's a huge out, number 1. Meanwhile, 1 run does score, so it's a 5-4 ball game, and Zach Cole will get to hang around as he heads back to the dugout peacefully, but he really let not only the home plate umpire, but also the crew chief know of his displeasure on that call.
Real interesting on that play for sure. And again, the throw was there on time. The issue that Zach Cole was going to raise is, did he slide under the tag? And of course, as usual, they lose the argument.
And here comes Corey Hunt, and I think that's actually going to be it for Hirschman. So after all the arguing, we're going to have a pitching change.
Or discussion, was it?
Well,
anyway,
yeah, it was kind of one-sided. I don't think the umpire had a whole lot to say about it. But nonetheless, here comes Antonio Menendez out of Wake Forest, the sidewinding closer for the Charlottesville Tom Sox, coming on here in the 6th inning.
And you say during the regular season, very effective reliever. I'll give you some numbers. 15 game appearances, 25 2/3 innings worked, a lot of work. 12 hits, 5 runs. They happen to all be earned. 11 strikeouts. Excuse me. 11 walks, 39 strikeouts. So big ratio there. A measly 1.75 ERA, 141 batting average against. So yeah, effective stuff.
Menendez, as you will see on your screen in just a moment, he's not going to come over the top. He's going to come at you from the side, and that makes his slider just that much harder to hit.
So gunning in there is Morris, who I think got one of those at the plate last night.
He got Lopez back in the first inning. This time he gets Bogart. Center fielder on center fielder crime tonight.
And again, a slide at the plate, which head coach Cole thought he got under the tag, but no doubt the throw was there in time. So tag mechanics was the issue.
So Hirschman will get 3 2/3 officially of work. So we've got one out here in the 6th. He's still on the hook for a few. He has given up the 4 hits now. He definitely is taking 1 earned run. Excuse me, he's taking 2 earned runs. So 2 earned runs to Gregory, 2 earned runs to Hirschman, and he's still responsible for the runners on first and second. And actually, one of the Rebels coaches still having a discussion with the umpire now.
Third base umpire, I guess, yeah.
He's the only one that hadn't been discussed with so far. So see if he saw anything different.
Rounded out. So Rebels rally underway, but kind of one of the bombs was defused with a throw at the plate.
I knew it was going to be close because we've seen Morris has that arm in center.
Awesome, yep.
And de Guzman had speed. So it was going to be a great play, and it turned out to be quite the play, in fact, and it's a huge play in this ball game.
Well, that's continuing with the aggressive base running we saw with the safety squeeze previous inning.
So it'll be first and second, 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning, and the new right-hander Antonio Menendez out of Wake Forest is set to face the number 9 hitting catcher, Hank Moore. Excuse me, that was Bogart that got thrown at the plate. Fernandez is at second, de Guzman's at first.
You had it right the first time you said it, yeah.
He got the hit and the RBI.
Right.
He would have liked the second RBI. And now Menendez is going to have to chat with Orrs. They can't get on the same page here. Sometimes you'll see that.
Yes.
At least for Charlottesville, we rotate catchers. Alaka caught last night or tonight. If there's a game 3, it'll be Alaka tomorrow. And Menendez, more than likely, has just worked with Alaka a few more times.
And Rebels rotate catchers too. And again, it's very important to have 3 catchers in your regular season. You're short a resource if you don't.
Charlottesville's been with 2 all summer long.
Ooh, that's tough. 6'4" is Menendez. I thought he looked tall.
There's that slider, just slipped underneath the bat of Hank Moore for the first strike. And Menendez is one of those few relievers that you'll see go away from the fastball on his first pitch. He'll go to his breaking stuff
Which is important because a lot of guys key on that being a fastball.
There's the fastball, swung right through it, 0-2.
There's a 6'4" guy, your right-handed batter. He steps toward third base to accentuate the fact that the ball looks like he's being released behind you by the time it's on its way.
And it ends up in the other batter's box.
Exactly. Tough, tough.
Big 0-2 pitch here as Menendez tries to work out of the 6th inning. The right-hander fires, and it's a beautiful dancing slider, and all Moore can do is swing and fish.
That was a bit outside, but he didn't know what to do with it.
Nice slider by Menendez. That one dropped off the shelf. Here comes Kobe Lopez, shortstop and leadoff hitter for Newmarket. On the ball game, he's 1 for 3, but he scored 2 runs. A fielder's choice and a single. He's also flown out to left, back in the 2nd. So now 2 away. Fernandez at second, de Guzman at first. First pitch, and he pops it up high on the infield. Bazin calls off McCall and grabs it for the 3rd out. So Antonio Menendez comes on here in the 6th inning and relieves the pressure the Rebels had on. They do score 1, though. It's 5-4 Charlottesville after 6.
But to only get 1 run out of 3 hits and a hit batsman, that is, I think, underproducing, Zach.
Yeah, underproducing and leaving 2 more on base plus the runner at the plate. Newmarket's now left a total of 6 runners, plus you can add the 7th if you would like. See who comes back out. It looks like it still Mill Irons, I believe.
He earned it striking out the side.
I can't imagine Zach Cole would do anything else. As long as your team's working you back in. Mill Irons, I believe, is kind of a prototype starter as well. Like, he can start, I believe.
Yeah, he did some starts. Yeah,
so he's a guy that can go distance, which is something that you love to have in your bullpen come playoff time.
Yep, very versatile. Did have 3 starts appropriately.
Looks like we're about set to begin the 7th here. It's the top of the lineup for Charlottesville. It'll be shortstop Zach Ching, followed by McCall and Kirby McMullen. So Ching tonight, 1 for 3. He has been busy with Kobe Lopez, excuse me. First inning he lined out to him for out number 1. In the 3rd inning, he singled to center right by Lopez, and then later scored in that inning on an error by Lopez. And then in the 4th inning, he grounded out to Lopez.
Yeah, that's
so the
busy.
Shortstops have been going hand in hand so far when Ching's at the plate. See what he can do here against Mill Irons.
That's like the center fielder throwing out the center fielder. About that, yeah.
A lot of positional crime here tonight as he swings through the first one, 0-1. Nice fastball by Mill Irons. It's really the star of his repertoire, it seems, so far. He's been able to blow it by a few guys in that last inning. Fastball again in there for strike 2. Charlottesville trying to force a game 3. They're up 5-4 here in the 7th. Pitch. Strike 3, beautiful change up there by Mill Irons, and he retires Ching.
Looking, eh?
Looking for the 4th consecutive strikeout since coming in the ballgame.
Did we happen to give Mercer's totals? Did we give the line on Mercer?
Mercer went an inning and a 3rd, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, I believe.
That's it. That is the line. A short one. And we were wondering about the pitching change. He'd been so effective until we saw Mill Irons strike out 4 guys in a row.
Here comes Patrick McCall. He will be a tough one to strike out, but he gets behind 0-1 after he halfway offers at a fastball outside. So Mill Irons ahead of another one. After McCall, it's the right fielder McMullen. But Patrick on the ball game, 1 for 3. A single, around 2 strikeouts. Outside, same pitch, didn't offer, and it's a ball, 1-1.
It's a good eye there.
I'd like to have back that first one. Could be 2-0. He just held his swing a little bit tighter. Long pause. Mill Iron back on the rubber. Right-hander kicks and fires McCall. Excuse me, swing back up the middle. Tough play Lopez, and what do you know? A great stretch at first.
Wow.
Gets the out. What a stretch by Kosiski for the out.
And a quick release by Lopez. Yeah.
Heads up defense by the Rebels. Bail him out again, and there's quickly 2 away. But unfortunately, it breaks Mill Iron's streak.
Of K's, yes.
Here comes Kirby McMullen. He is 0 for 2. He walked back in the 1st inning. Since then, grounded out to Lopez at short and struck out swinging in the 5th. Charlottesville now the victim of 11 strikeouts at the plate as McMullen falls behind 0-1. Now the 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. So big pitch here. Mill Irons can continue the cruise. Back on the rubber. Now evens out, gets the sign he likes, brings the glove to the waist and the high leg kick. The 2-strike pitch, swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts and 6 outs for Peyton Mill Irons. And Charlottesville lead remains just 1. 5-4. It's time to stretch at Rebel Park on the Valley Baseball League.
I just happened to look at the right time. If you do on Game Live on the scoring, that makes 17 strikes, 3 balls delivered by Mill Irons so far. That goes away so quickly. On the
You have to be quick to grab it.
Yeah, I was fortunate to see that.
Market faithful, giving their best rendition of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." I might be biased, but I think Seaville Weekly might do it a little bit louder.
They're tuning up a little louder now. It was kind of undershot to begin. There we go. It's taking a while to warm up.
Yeah, gotta
but
get those vocal
you
cords.
guys do a good job down there for that.
A little bit of a chilly night. Actually, it's starting to cool off here at Rebel Park. Temperature in the mid to low 70s at this juncture. Antonio Menendez is back out for another inning. See, Dennis is used to working in these conditions. He brought a jacket, but it's okay. It's just a little chilly, but it's very manageable on a beautiful summer night for baseball in the fine Valley League.
Stats-wise, Zach, I don't want to guess what the age spread is on us, but I'm thinking you probably got a little better furnace going than I do. So, yeah.
Here's a guy that beats us in every statistical category, Andrew Eister. He got his hit back in the 5th. Up here in the 7th inning, he's got a chance to start him off with a bang here. And Eister with the 9 home runs, a guy that can flip the ball game in one swing.
That's right.
He's swinging like it as he fouls it off the first offering from Antonio Menendez.
But as we mentioned, also important, he led the league regular season in extra base hits. So I told him he was averse to first base is basically what happens for Andrew Eister.
The 0-1.
Ooh, nice.
There's a slider that catches the inside part of the zone. You don't see Menendez go with that pitch too often. He likes to work away.
Well, good call there, I would say, by Orr if you're going to mix it up.
Caught Eister watching, and now it's 0-2. The 2-strike pitch from the right-hander.
Outside is the call, and outside it went.
That is more than outside. That's next state outside. That one went straight to the backstop. 1-2. That more than likely got outside of the broadcast zone of the Facebook Live.
Whoa, wait.
Slider that time didn't come back, and it's 2-2. That went up and in under the armpits.
Excuse me, I'll take a short break while I can, Zach.
Now Menendez stares into a 2-2 against the MVP Andrew Eister. He fouls this one off. On deck after Eister is Chase Suddiff, the third baseman. He is 0-2 with 2 RBIs. Great stat line. It's just an interesting one. Suddiff of a great night at Seaville Weekly a night ago, as well as the guy at the plate in Eister. They were both ultra productive, and what a shock.
The umpire had something in his eye, had to use a handkerchief to get it out.
To the better hitters, as the umpire had a quick time to remove something from his eye. But now a 2-2 with no outs to Andrew Eister inside. Just missed. Menendez bent with the pitch, trying to will it back into the zone. But it was a ball, and we've got ourselves a full count. Now the main question is, do you give in to the league MVP and give him a fastball, or do you stick with that slider and put him on first? Big pitch from Antonio Menendez. Swing and a miss, got him on the fastball. That fastball rode out of the zone, and a beautiful pitch results in strikeout number 1 for Menendez. Excuse me, strikeout number 2 for Menendez. And here comes Chase Suddiff. Right-handed batting third baseman will dig in with 1 out, and the base is empty. Menendez Fires in a two-seam fastball for strike one. That one came backing, hung on the outside third of the plate. The 0-1. Laced to right field. Good job of inside outing that ball by Chase Sutton as he sends it to right field for a one-out single. First hit given up by Menendez in basically an innings pitched over 2 innings.
He's got a rep to go oppo. It's good going oppo.
Now Arajanu comes to the plate. He will look to pull it towards right field for sure. That's a new style. As we mentioned earlier, got hitting lessons from J.D. Martinez, another guy that likes to pull the ball.
That was Fernandez.
See, that was Fernandez, not Anu. Anu was drafted by the Red Sox.
Exactly.
I got it backwards. So Anu was drafted by the Red Sox, turned that down, decided to go to Wallace Community College instead.
All Red Sox connections are good, though.
Can't hear Dennis off air. He says all Red Sox connections are welcome. That one's outside. 1-1. Got a good friend listening back home that's a Red Sox fan, so he's enjoying this as well.
Not just because they're doing great. Believe me.
Now the 1-1 from Menendez facing Arajanu. First, we're going to have a check back at first. Back safely is Sudduth. He was in pretty easily. Might see him take a little bit of a longer lead over there at first. 1-1 with 1 out to Arajanu. No, we're going to check again. Sudduth lingering around and Menendez not enjoying the fact that he's over there. What a shock. On the season, Sudduth has 4 stolen bases.
Again.
They're going to check a third time now. So
That was
really,
a quicker move.
really watching over there. Newmarket dugout getting a little restless. And now a big 1-1 to Arajanu. No, 4 straight. Tom Sox must really think they've got something going. They are keeping a close eye on Sudduth, and he actually gets up a little bit slower this time.
Or dirt to clean off.
Have to wait and see if Menendez decides to deal or not. 9:39 Eastern time here in Newmarket. No, last night we had some people watching as far west as California. I think even in the playoffs we've had some international followers as well as a new.
It was a foul tip.
I guess he got enough of it to hit both Orr and the umpire for strike 2.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
So Menendez and Orr will chat as a courtesy to the home plate umpire. He took that one right off the ankle. And that's not where the umpire wears padding. Right off that outside part of that right ankle, but he appears to be okay. And here comes Orr. Big pitch here from Menendez as he'll look to retire Arajanu. He has struck out his last 2 plate appearances. And now Anu having a laugh with the umpire after he found one off the ankle of the ump. Chase Sudduth over at first base just hanging around. Menendez gives him a peek. He might go back that way again. And here comes the 1-2. The fastball fouled off, and Anu was on that one for the most part. He just was a tad bit late, but you got to be late because of that slider. You can't get out early because you'll have no shot. Big pitch coming from Antonio Menendez, trying to silence the short rally that Newmarket's putting together here in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. And Anu pulls that one to the cages and right, but foul. It's like one of the Charlottesville interns, Tommy Sneed, is off on his horse to go grab that one.
Anu started the playoffs really hot. First 2 games he was 5 for 10 with 5 RBIs. It's hard to maintain that. He didn't really.
1-2 again, swing and a miss, strike 3. Left the fastball outside, Anu swings through it, and there's 2 away. Chase Sudduth still on first base after the 1-out single to right field. And here comes first baseman Andrew Kosiski. Kosiski's had a fun night at the plate. as he is 2 for 2. 2 runs scored, and you can go ahead and throw in a walk as well. Actually, both of his singles have been leadoff singles in the 2nd and 6th innings. That one's outside, 1-0. My good buddy Dennis has disappeared for the moment, so Zach Hamilton with you, hanging out solo. Game 2 of the Valley Baseball League Championship. Charlottesville on top 5-4 here at Rebel Park as that one catches the outside part of the plate, and we're knotted up at 1-1. At the plate is the first baseman Andrew Kosiski of Newmarket facing right-handed side armor Antonio Menendez of Wake Forest. He has 3 strikeouts now, and has given up 1 hit so far. That pitch low and outside. Orr's throw not in time as Sudduth steals second, and the Tom Sox seemed like for the most part that was going to happen eventually. They kept throwing over. They threw over 5 times during the Araja New at-bat. And Sudduth goes on the 3rd pitch here to Kosiski. 2-1 count, 2 away in the 7th. The tying run now at second base for the Rebels. Long pause, look to second. Menendez now ready to fire. Sidewinder, changeup, outside, 3 and 2. 3-1. I'll get my math right eventually. 3-1 count, 2 away. 9:45. It's actually getting kind of dark up here on the web deck, as it does at almost 10 o'clock at night almost everywhere. But a big 3-1 pitch coming from Menendez to the first baseman, Kosiski. Strike 2, fastball. And Kosiski having a few thoughts to the home plate umpire on where that one missed.
And I wonder if being a catcher most of the time, he figures he has a pretty good understanding of most strike zones.
Typically the catchers have the most legitimate gripe out of any of them. But a big payoff pitch. Full count, 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Newmarket down a run, but that tying run is lingering off of second base, and Menendez is actually going to chase Sudduth back to the bag.
Rewinding a little bit, there were so many throws over with Sudduth on first by Menendez, almost made me think there'd been a sign stolen. I got to thinking that. But
well, as soon as they stopped throwing, he went, so it works in a way. Now a big payoff pitch to Kosiski once more from Menendez. Right-hander fires in just off the corner. Ooh. And there's ball 4. So
good
2-1.
Good eye rewarded but not abused by the umpire. So
right. Kosiski will head to first. He'll join Sudduth on the base paths here, as that is just the 2nd walk issued in the ball game by the Tom Sox. Hirschman had one back in the 4th inning. That's been it. Tom Sox have been pretty disciplined on the mound. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, a hit by pitch so far. They've given up to 4 runs.
Reflect their regular season great pitching stats.
That one's up and inside, 1-0. Coming into the playoffs, Charlottesville had a strikeout per 9 ratio of 9.99.
How about that?
So they're actually right on pace to hit their quota for the night with 8 here in the 7th. Got a 1-0 count now to Austin Bogart.
I don't know, there's a courtesy of extra time. I don't know if someone was discomforted or nothing happened to the batter. So, but getting back into action, but there's some extra time taken by the home plate umpire. Actually has a whisk broom tonight. There's another umpire who just uses his foot. It doesn't do much good.
Depending on how wet the dirt is. That one's in there for a strike. 1-1, a beauty from Menendez.
I had to break 2 feet horizontally.
That was a good old-fashioned slider there. Came right on into the zone, and Menendez evens it back up. It's been efficient so far, but now in a bit of trouble. Sudduth at second, Kosiski at first, and Bogart at the plate would like to redeem himself, although he would still argue that he was safe at home, I do believe.
Because the throw was there in such good time, we have to give it to the break as the right call of out. with Morris's cannon in center field.
Yeah, that's quite the throw. Now 2-1 count, and actually, my cameraman stat guy, do it all, David Argo, just told me 13.50 is the strikeouts per 9 innings for Menendez.
That'll work.
That'll work just about on any team in any league. And that one is swung on and missed, evening it up at 2-2 now is Bogart. 9.91 on the season, so it's fallen a little.
Is one of those two guys that also pitches, and so he's figuring he needs to understand the zone too. And he led the team with hit by pitch. And I asked him, is it because he's a pitcher that he knows when to bail and when not to bail? He laughed.
You got to decide when is it going to hurt more than it's worth. Now the 2-2. That one upside, and here we go. Big pitch here. You're down a run. Tying run is at second base. The go-ahead run at first. Both runners will be off on the pitch as it is a full count and 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Antonio Menendez set to face Austin Bogart. So Menendez comes in with here. I'd imagine it's going to be a fastball and try to run it away off the bat of Bogart.
Setting up outside is Orr.
Here's the pitch. Strike 3.
Too far out.
And nope, it's ball 4. So the bases are loaded now with 2 away. And it's a big time opportunity for Newmarket to climb back into this ball game. Or we'll go out and have a chat with Menendez. Now we'll head back behind the plate. So here comes the guy that's coached by J.D. Martinez of the Red Sox.
And I don't know, that had to be within the last 2 or 3 years. And he just said Fernandez says he got to know him, very approachable guy. And but he's stuck on 4 home runs as a measure since before the All-Star break.
Might have to take a visit to Boston. And he swings and sends this one.
Did we summon a home run?
Center,
did we summon a home run?
It's gone. Dennis, you did it again. Fernandez with a 3-run home run, and Newmarket is now just 6 outs away from the VBL championship.
Right center, well over the fence. Jubilation in Rebel Nation.
Seven to 5, Newmarket.
I called it too.
A grand salami here in the bottom of the 7th has Newmarket 6 outs away from a championship. The next pitch by Menendez, a ball to Christian de Guzman. And we've seen it so often. We've talked about numerous times, this time as well as the time back in July that I joined you here. The little things of baseball. And that little thing was a big thing, but in the grand scheme of the game, it was one little thing that Menendez would like to have back.
Exactly. And he's been pitching so effectively. And so you give more credit to Fernandez to deal with a side armor as a righty batter.
So now, a 1-run deficit's a 3-run lead. 8-5 is the score, and a 3-0 count to de Guzman. And Charlottesville's got an arm up and throwing.
Second grand slam of the season for the Rebels. It's hard to find those on the stats because they don't tell you if it's a 3-run or 2-run homer. They don't tell you.
And de Guzman with a 4-pitch walk here, so Newmarket not done yet in the inning. And you know, Dennis, everything was going pretty swimmingly while you were gone, and then you came back and suddenly Newmarket's on the board.
Well, I was complimenting Menendez too, but I had to come back. It's my job.
This is true, and that's Bradley Hanner down in the pen for Charlottesville. And Coach Hunt coming out. His first visit with Menendez, so he doesn't have to take him out.
We are just going to fantasize that some way, somehow, we can get word to J.D. Martinez that his batting student, cranked a granny down here at this time, especially if the Rebels get the W.
You've got to send that into your Twitter, guys. Get him to add him. You know, you never know. You might get a retweet, or you never know. And Menendez is staying in the ball game.
We have an intern that uses a GoPro for short clips, and I'm hoping he captured that one. Anyway, crank to right center. If you can see on your camera, I don't know if the camera's on the outfield fence yet, but over at the Door Gorilla sign, actually.
He opened the door, and he walked right through it with authority. So Menendez will stay in as Coach Hunt returns to the dugout, and what a roller coaster for Charlottesville. You win the South Championship, you come home, get upended 16-4. You come here to Newmarket, and seemingly, while it's just a one-run lead, you seem to be in control.
My verbal scripting was leading up to say this game is more typical between these teams before that big crank. And it still kind of is, but compared to last night. But that certainly changes the complexion.
8-5 your scores. The strike is into the catcher, Hank Moore. So in the two-game series so far to this juncture, Newmarket has outscored the Tom Sox 24-9. So that one's upstairs, 1-1. Now a lot of that came last night, to be fair. It's 8-5 here in game 2, but Newmarket now up in the hits column as well. This one fisted out the
How
first.
did he do that?
I would like to see that on replay, because I honestly think he got that off of his hand. But nonetheless, it's the third out, and that's all Menendez cares about, is finally getting out of the nightmare. 4 runs on the grand slam by Hernan Fernandez. And we're going to step aside on the Valley Baseball League Network.
Only 2 hits, but
Yep.
well, the 3 walks really clearly, obviously hurt. I mean, 2
The
walks.
2018 season's just about over, but it's not too soon to start thinking about next year, especially if you're a business looking to promote your services and support the community at the same time. Hello everyone, my name is Graham Knight, and on behalf of the Valley Baseball League, I would like to invite you to participate in our live stream broadcast. Today more than ever, customers are looking for community give back from the businesses they support. Perfect example is Jim Stutzman Chevrolet of Winchester, Virginia. Jim Stutzman Chevrolet is a community partner in a number of ways in Winchester. For example, this year they sponsored all 6 teams in the Northern Division. Tom's Shoes is another example. When a customer shops at Tom's Shoes, not only do they buy a pair of shoes for themselves, but they provide a pair of shoes for someone in need. Why not baseball?
Wow.
If you're a business looking to support the community and get your message out, the Valley League is the perfect place for you. Here's why. Once we pay for the cost of producing these live streams, the remaining profits are returned to the league and the teams. This is the perfect way to get your message out and support Valley League action, not only in the Shenandoah Valley, but across the country. If this sounds of interest to you, please reach out to me. My email address is graham@isomermedia.com. That's graham@isomermedia.com. I promise you we'll find a marketing package that matches your budget needs and helps bring the Valley Baseball League action to fans everywhere. Now back to the action.
Okay, we're back for action now for a completely changed complexion of this game. Going to the top of the 8th with Tom Sox up with a grand slam home run in the bottom of the 7th after Take Me Out to the Ball Game was sung by the Rebel Faithful. Hernan Fernandez pitches away. Mill Irons back for his 3rd inning relief work. Peyton Mill Irons outside, ball 1. And in the complexion of Fernandez's grand slam, 2 walks preceded that after a base hit, so they really hurt. It is now 8-5 Newmarket. Next pitch. I lost track. Is it 2-0 now?
It is indeed 2-0.
So
the scoreboard has gone quiet.
Peyton Mill Irons had retired 6 in a row. In the mix were 4 strikeouts in his first 2 innings of work. There's a pop-up back behind the Game Information Center. 2-1 now. So lightning in the bat, which the Rebels have had so often and had exhibited coming in the postseason. They do have a 12-game winning streak coming in here, which is pretty phenomenal. and the Valley League Championship in balance here. Pitches outside, 3-2, as Newmarket enjoys a 16-4 win last night that was powered by lots of different things, of course. And in spite of that, 2 guys were thrown at the plate and they left 12 on. Swing and a miss. Mill Irons now back in the groove, 3-2. This is Brett Contracchio. I think we may have forgotten to mention that. Beg your pardon.
And Brett Contracchio at the plate tonight.
Yeah.
He is 0 for 2. He also walked in the 5th and picked up a stolen base.
Full count on him. And he's swinging a miss on a really good fastball. Lots of K's in the alphabet for Peyton Millarns to use tonight. That's his 5th strikeout in just a 2 1/3 innings of work. Yeah. Is that good? Oh, we got 6. Thank you very much. And thank you for your play-by-play. Zach Hamilton on loan in the groove from the Tom Sox for play-by-play. Also want to mention that he's a JMU Patriots student, going to be a senior, and does a lot of game coverage up there for...
We'll change that J to a G.
G.
For GMU. George Mason.
I get so excited.
Yeah.
It's George Mason, and I know about him in history. Thank you. And no insult to either school intended. 01. George Mason University is in Fairfax, Virginia. James Madison University in Harrisonburg. And I'm due back as a speech therapist Friday.
This is my first trip to the Valley League for an extended time, and it's been a great summer. It's a great league.
You hooked onto a really good franchise there in Charlottesville for sure, and you were glad to say when you came here July 27, took care of your bucket list to visit every park in the league. Well done. There's a sky to pop foul. Now makes it 1-2.
That one found the junkyard.
Again, Peyton Millarns, spectacular relief work. I don't believe in the announcer's jinx, so I'm very cautious about saying this. Did happen to do the setup for Fernandez's grand slam about his getting batting instruction from J.D. Martinez. That was just luck. Lots of other times I mentioned it, nothing happened. Low and away for a ball, 2-2. Because Matthew Mercer was very effective. And again, just one more revisit of that. There came Zach Cole, took him out, and here's a guy with 6 strikeouts and just his 2 1/3 innings of work. Struck out the side when he first came on in the 6th. He's going to deliver to Nick, or another strikeout. I don't think I've seen anything quite like this in a long time, Zach.
7 strikeouts now out of the 8 batters he's faced. The only one that didn't go down with strikes was a ground out to shortstop by Patrick McCall.
Well, again, during the regular season, frankly, the Newmarket pitching lagged the hitting by a bit. Hitting was so good that it kind of made up for it, but now they're coming together in the playoffs. Another strike.
And think about the significance of this. I don't know the last time a Valley League team put together 13 in a row to win a championship, if it's ever been done.
Not in recent years. Guy who's here tonight does All Things Valley League, would know a lot about that. John Leonard, All Things Valley League website and Facebook page. Another strike. Phenomenal relief work for the Rebels preceded Adon Fernandez's phenomenal grand slam. So now they're vectoring in for the Rebels to wrap this up tonight, potentially to win the championship. It's low and inside, 1-2. And the fact is that Charlottesville only has 4 more outs to work with.
That ticker's starting to count down. Since that home run was hit, it's been going in my head. I'm pretty sure it's been going in a lot of Tom Sox faithful here in attendance, as they've had nothing really to cheer about since the 4th inning.
There's a sky to ball. It's going to be a non-strikeout put out. But it's a P5. But again, 1, 2, 3. And that takes care of the top of the 9th. And Matthew Millarns has kind of an iron arm, but it's a flexible iron arm. He's mowed him down 9 in a row. Everybody he's faced is out. And I happen to grab his ratio, 26 strikes 9 balls in his effort so far. And we're going to see who might be coming to work on the mound for the Tom Sox. Due up for the Rebels in the bottom of the 8th, Kobe Lopez, Matthew Eister, and Chase Sudduth.
It will be Menendez coming to the plate. Looks like we're about to join us up here on the web deck. You'll get to see our great view. It's also where the home plate camera has been the entire night. So,
well, that's a harsh light thrown on us right away. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've heard our voices trying the best we can do to give you a description of this game, which got real exciting just in the last while. I'm Dennis Atwood. This is Zach Hamilton. And I was just about to say before recent developments how much this game reflected the fact that he had the best. Our camera guy had to go do something. Had the best teams emerging by virtue of their record, and it was very atypical last night with Newmarket's 16-4 win, and it's still within reach, but it's the sands of the hourglass are just very few left for the Tom Sox.
Only 3 grands of sand left, and it's going to be 7, 8, and 9 for Charlottesville, which actually, as far as the playoff goes, that's been the most productive 3 spots in the line for Charlottesville in the playoffs.
And that's fantastic for any coach would love that. So we don't know if you saw us at all. We were glad to get back to the view of the field actually. So we got the action starting again here. It's the bottom of the 8th, and the whole complexion of the game was changed on a Don Fernandez's home run. And Menendez had been pitching really well.
Yeah, and he's actually back out here again for the 8th, and he's going to pitch really well probably again here in the 8th. And it was just that one bad pitch that really did him in. Obviously having the bases loaded with 2 walks is not what you want, but that one pitch is what really sunk the ship.
Okay, well, we hope we didn't scare you too much with the spotlight on us here on the web deck. Your broadcasters, Dennis Atwood, was on your right, and Zach Hamilton was on your left. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tolerating that, and our producers being pretty creative. So,
happy birthday to our producer as well, Graham Knight.
Kobe Lopez has got an 0-2 count on him. So Graham Knight finally turned 30. How about that? Happy birthday, Graham. And there's a pitch a little bit high, a 1-2. Anticipating a Newmarket win. There will be ceremonies on the field, the presentation of the Lina Weaver Trophy. We gave you earlier the bio on early administrator on the league, Mr. Lina Weaver. It's 2-2 now, and I will try to get down to the field and use my trusty cell phone camera to give you some coverage of that, because we do not have the flexibility in our technology to get a signal that far yet. There's been tremendous gains in the use of multi-camera and doing other things like that this year, especially in the playoffs. And there's a poke down the left field line, but it's catchable. It is elevated enough for that angst. And he must create angst in some other teams when he faces them. So the F7, out number 1. Here comes Andrew Eister, who is kind of underperformed based on most of his statistics. Well, all of them. He's actually only 1 for 4 tonight with a single. But you can't have multiple hits in every game, and he's done enough of it to be the most valuable player. Last night, 3 for 4, and I think 4 RBIs, confusing my games. But he didn't that's the same day that he found out he was league MVP, and he was 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs, and it didn't go to his head. He said he maintained his focus. We got him on the post game, and a funny thing happened. There's a foul tip. His teammates tried to dump the Gatorade bucket on him, but they came from the side, and so they hadn't had that much experience. And he saw them coming. He ducked out of the way. And neither one of us got wet. It was way outside, 2-1. But then came the bubble gum, and they got him with the bubble gum.
They got the bubble gum.
All wrapped up.
I think it was the Cincinnati Reds on-field host was interviewing a guy. The player got out of the way. The reporter got soaked.
Yes. There's a pitch that was about several inches outside, called a strike, and Andrew Eister knows that. He's got a good eye, and that was an unfortunate strike call, but he's still alive, so don't close the book yet on this at bat. 1 out, bottom of the 8th, and he gives it another. I guess if you play golf, you could understand how he hit that ball, but I don't.
I play golf, and I'm not really sure how he hit that ball either. That was like a hybrid baseball golf swing, and it wasn't.
He almost hit it with his right knee.
Yeah, it wasn't effective for either golf or baseball. It wouldn't have worked either way.
He's still alive. Amazing physics on that. And the swings at a really bad pitch, gets away from the catcher, but took his time, but it's a K2 completed 2-3. Disappointing night for Andrew Eister, but he, I'm sure, is elated with the prospects of the Rebels winning this championship. Here's Chase Sudduth, who played an amazing cat and mouse game with Menendez. At least 4 or 5 throw overs. Some of them were very close when Sudduth was on first. Then when he didn't do it, he did a well-timed stolen base last inning. Sudduth on the night is actually 1 for 3, but 2 RBIs, one on a well-executed safety squeeze and then a ground-out RBI. It's 1-0 on him. On deck is Oraj Anu. Another generous strike call. It's interesting how that's developing.
Interesting to note of come the bottom, or the top of the 9th rather. Charlottesville down to their final 3 outs.
Very pertinent. There's a foul at the plate. I think also in addition to great strike ratios by Menendez, he must have a lot of foul balls at the plate. That seems to be the pattern tonight.
Well, you've got a fastball that it's already going horizontal, so it's going to drop over time as it goes, because it has to go, even though it's 60 inches, it's still longer because it has to work horizontal as well.
Exactly.
So it's going to drop below the bat head. A lot of people will beat it right into the ground.
There you go. Very good guy to have in your arsenal. And there's a well-timed poke out to center, but it looks plenty catchable by Morris. And the F8, 1-2-3 go the Rebels in the bottom of the 8th. And it's going to be last chances now for the Charlottesville Tom Sox. Commercial.
For over a year now, you've heard me talking about your price and our $99 processing fee. Why? Because at Jim Stutzman Chevrolet, transparency means everything. For nearly 40 years, our reputation has been forged on a foundation of honesty and integrity in an industry that hasn't always lived up to these principles. But don't just take my word for it. Come by, visit with the professional staff at Jim Stutzman's, and experience it for yourself. We're Jim Stutzman Chevrolet, 2700 Valley Avenue, home of your price and the $99 processing fee.
Just gotta make it what you want.
So we're up to the top of the 9th, last chances for the Charlottesville Tom Sox, whose fortunes in this game went south just as the Rebels' fortunes went way north on a Don Fernandez's grand slam home run in the bottom of the 7th. Peyton Milliron's back for his 4th inning of work, and all he's done is retire all 12 guys he's seen with a whole bunch of strikeouts and another strike. This is absolutely phenomenal.
Bazin was the first batter he faced back in the 6th inning, and what do you know? He struck him out.
7 Ks in 3 innings of work, sandwiched around Fernandez's grand slam. There's your story. Swing and a miss. 0-2. And again, we believe that it's going to be, there must be, some post-game ceremonies. I'm going to go down on the field, use my cell phone camera to try to get video, and the very capable Zach Hamilton will wrap things up here on the web deck. There you go. I have never seen anything quite like this over this extended period of time.
Strikeout number 8 now in the ball game for Millirons.
And reached, we can have Jack back, run down, and like run out with the crowd or something.
So the Rebels right now, 8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Here's Jack Morris. He is 0 for 2, a walk and 2 strikeouts. But great in the outfield. Threw out a guy at the plate. Called strike. That I'll just say it's a called strike.
There's actually a guy warming up in the Newmarket pen, which is.
Am I live?
That's a ball, 1-1, which is interesting.
Yeah, you're 2 outs away from a championship. I just can't imagine you do anything that could jeopardize what Mill Irons has put together here, which is just.
I hope he doesn't see
perfection.
it. Or maybe the guy's college coach says, I want him to have one more warm-up. That's really close, just a skoshi outside a little bit in Japanese.
I didn't know if your team has any like sentimental stories where a guy might come in to get the last out or anything of that sort.
Not that are available to me. That looks good. Oh my goodness.
There's ball 3. 3-1 now.
But ladies and gentlemen, most objective observers would say that was a strike. There's no time for squeezing in my opinion, but it is 3-1.
I'm actually puzzled at who's batting. This is not Jack Morris.
We missed a pinch hitter. We beg your pardon, folks. There's a pinch hitter
This
up.
is Alex Martinet, who has been the
Inside.
hot bat all postseason long. He did not play a night ago, but works a 1-out walk here.
After 10 consecutive outs by Mill Irons, a little squeeze on some calls, and Martinet draws a walk to break that string. And indeed, there goes Mill Irons.
What a turn of events.
Phenomenal.
Here comes an arm. It looks to be a right-hander out of the bullpen for Newmarket. We've got the numbers sprinting up to us.
A very enthusiastic, well-deserved round of applause for Peyton Mill Irons. And it could be Eubanks, who's no slouch on the fastball. All-league selection it is.
That looks like to me.
Kevin, 34 is Eubanks?
I believe so.
Yep. Trevin Eubanks, right-handed pitcher, 6'6", 6'3", 230 pounds from Valdosta State. A All-Valley League selection as a relief pitcher. But still phenomenal work by Peyton Mill Irons.
3 1/3 for Mill Irons. No hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts.
Heck of a line. So this, you foreshadowed it actually, Zach, when you said, do you have a tradition? Well, this year the tradition would be this guy's been in a closer role, and so Coach Cole knows about his talents. He was an all-star, he was in the showcase, he's an All-Valley League selection. So,
and he would be in line for a save at this juncture
that
as
hasn't
well.
always happened, right? In the regular season, and it's so moist and humid on the web deck that my document protectors are sticking together. Just want to give you Eubanks' walk-strikeout ratio. In the regular season, 36 strikeouts, 9 walks. Yeah. His ERA regular season was 1.50, and that was inflated by 1 bad inning. 7 is up there in the on-deck circle. That is Bellafronto.
Bellafronto, Ching, McCall. If someone can reach, I would not expect any pinch hitters from the Tom Sox. This is your guys right here. Bellafronto, obviously the 3-run home run tonight. Then you've got Zach Ching and McCall. Probably you could argue the best 2 hitters statistically left on the Tom Sox after D'Alessandro and Lazar departed. Not done yet. I quoted this last night. You said you listened to part of the game a night ago.
Yes.
Famous Justin Bieber quote. And no, I'm not a Justin Bieber fan, but I just happen to know this. Never say never. You just never know in baseball. That's the best part about this sport.
Indeed, that's the case.
Continues to go forever.
Righty batter, righty pitcher. Martinet drew the walk, and there's a pop-up for 1 pitch. You might have a game ender here. And Eubanks wants it himself, not usually advised, but that's it. on the P1. That is the end of the season for the...
No, it's not. 2 outs. 2 outs.
Boy, do I get ahead of myself or what? Yeah, we're not putting the Tom Sox to bed yet, so there's 2 down. And that's another reason I work with an assistant. And Zach Hamilton's a mighty capable one. I'm so anxious to get down on the field. So here's top of the order, Zach Ching. And he did a great night last night in game 1 in spite of the outcome. Guy on first, 2 outs appropriately, foul ball, 0-1. And Martinet was attempting to steal, keep the action going. Trevin Eubanks wants to nail the door big time. And I'm glad he shied away from that pop-up because pitchers are known to flub those.
Yeah, the catcher also wasn't real thrilled about it.
All right,
Newmarket fans are on their feet.
Way high and away, 1-1. Just one more quick story on Eubanks. He was 1 pitch away from an immaculate inning, one of the late games in the season. And he's delivers high again. And I was just about to say, sometimes he overthrows. Didn't want to mention that he could, but right now he seems anxious to want to nail this down and needs to relax a little bit, in my opinion, get in the groove. And there's the groove. 2-2. The Newmarket Rebels are 1 strike away from winning the first Valley League championship for them since 2002. And knocking out of the deal right here, the defending champion Tom Sox. And they say he went on that swinging strike. That is strike 3. The Newmarket Rebels are the 2018 Valley Baseball League champions. Now have a 13-game winning streak to finish this up and bring in the trophy home. Tight game until a Don Fernandez grand slam home run in the bottom of the 7th, and Peyton Milliron's phenomenal relief work. It's been a pleasure working with Zach Hamilton twice. I'll just give you the line scores. Newmarket, 8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Charlottesville, 5 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors. And I need to scoot down to the field to provide some coverage. Again, thanks, Zach Hamilton.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, best of luck forward.
We'll wrap it up here briefly on the web deck as the Tom Sox season comes to an end, but the Newmarket Rebels are your 2018 VBL champions. As the handshakes are exchanged at home plate, Newmarket wins the final series 2-0. As Dennis said, winners of 13 in a row. Charlottesville season comes to a close. Champions a year ago, runners-up this year. Charlottesville, a threat to be reckoned with in the VBL in their short history in the Valley. For Newmarket, the first championship since 2002. They will take home the Lineweaver Memorial Trophy for the next season. It's been with the Tom Sox for the past year. On to the Newmarket Rebels. It's been a great Valley League season. It took 69 days to complete after the few rainouts as the Newmarket crowd comes to their feet. But that'll do it for us here on Facebook Live and Stretch Internet. Don't forget, if you'd like to watch a replay of tonight's championship-winning ball game, you can head on over to the Valley Baseball League website and the VBL Facebook page for more. For the final time in 2018, I'm Zach Hamilton. For the rest of the crew here tonight, Graham Knight, David Argo, and everyone else, as well as Dennis Atwood, I'm Zach Hamilton. Your Newmarket Rebels are your 2018 Valley Baseball League champions. I'm coming. Huh? I rode with Drew. Hey, where's the thing?
What?
Where's Stretch Internet?
Flash Media Live Encoder is what it's called.
But where's it at?
I don't know. Just look it up, search it.
Lineweaver Memorial Trophy for the next season. The Tom Sox for the past year. On to the Newmarket Rebels. It's been a great Valley League season. days to complete. After the few rainouts as the Newmarket crowd comes to their feet, but that'll do it for us here on Facebook Live and Stretch Internet. Don't forget, if you'd like to watch a replay of tonight's championship-winning ball game, you can head on over to the Valley Baseball League website and the BBL Facebook page for more. Final time in 2018. Zach Hamilton and the rest of the crew here tonight. Graham Knight, Dave Gardner, and everyone else, as well as Dennis Atwood. I'm Zach Hamilton, your Newmarket Rebels, for your 2018 Valley Baseball League champions. I'm coming.
At this time, Mr. Shippett will present the Comstock with the running back trophy for 2018. Once again, we do want to congratulate Comstock on a wonderful season. Great job, fellas. You represented the community and your team very well. You do very well. At this time, it's Ms. Speedy who is the Vice President, Team Liaison, and very much an integral part of the Newmarket Rebels. If you would please come forward. For the 2018 Valley League champion, awesome job.
Yep.
Awesome job.
Yep. Stay in
I
there.
think at this time, Ms. Moody is going to present that trophy to head coach Pat Cole and the Newmarket Rebels team. Awesome job, guys. This team has made a tremendous run for the last several weeks of this season. And have gone swept the championship series all through have won the last 13 games in a row. What an accomplishment we have done with the unity of Newmarket, your team, and this organization's proud. Awesome job, guys.
That's how we get it all. So now.
Let's look at the people that we've already aware of two athletes who is the Commissioner of the BBL, and he's also the President and General Manager of the Newmarket Rebels. And they have been for some time. This team has been really good, and the hard work and the effort that we have put in through the many, many years of dedication to Newmarket Rebels baseball.
No problem. You get off me, I have to line out. Just wait for him to come. No problem. I am. Thank you. I'm just gonna leave everything out here. Till next season.
The 2018 season's just about over, but it's not too soon to start thinking about next year, especially if you're a business looking to promote your services and support the community at the same time. Hello everyone, my name is Graham Knight, and on behalf of the Valley Baseball League, I would like to invite you to participate in our live stream broadcast. Today more than ever, customers are looking for community give back from the businesses they support. Perfect example is Jim Stutzman Chevrolet of Winchester, Virginia. Jim Stutzman Chevrolet is a community partner in a number of ways in Winchester. For example, this year they sponsored all 6 teams in the Northern Division. Tom's Shoes is another example. When a customer shops at Tom's Shoes, not only do they buy a pair of shoes for themselves, but they provide a pair of shoes for someone in need. Why not baseball? If you're a business looking to support the community and get your message out, the Valley League is the perfect place for you. Here's why. Once we pay for the cost of producing these live streams, the remaining profits are returned to the league and the team. This is the perfect way to get your message out and support Valley League action, not only in the Shenandoah Valley, but across the country. If this sounds of interest to you, please reach out to me. My email address is graham@isomermedia.com. That's graham@isomermedia.com. I promise you we'll find a marketing package that matches your budget needs and helps bring the Valley Baseball League action. On behalf of the Valley Baseball League, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for tonight's live stream. This live stream has been brought to you by Subway, Make It What You Want, and by Jim Stutzman Chevrolet and Cadillac Company of Winchester, Virginia, home of the $99 processing fee, and by 92.5 Wink FM, home of Barry Lee and Katie G in the morning, and by TGI Fridays. It's always Friday at TGI Fridays. Before we sign off, one more small bit of business. This live stream telecast is the property of the Valley Baseball League and may not be used in any form without the express written consent of the Valley Baseball League. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our next matchup.